Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Pokonjre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia. From education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jar.
And I am Ansonis hosting. This is our program On Point, usually hosted here by the unbending, uncompromising, the man who drinks from the Sacramento cup. He's a sedition from the Sunshine State of Florida. I hope what you have in there is not too strong for you. I don't want you to fall off. And so, folks, in cyberspace, we want to welcome you to yet another edition of our program On Point here at Focus on Liberia. 4 outstanding panelists seated. Another, or maybe 2 more, might be joining us. This is going to be hard today. As always, we are covering issues in Liberia. Seated and ready to go is the host of On Point, Mr. Jaron Gilman. How you doing? Did your team win? How the Dolphins doing, by the way?
The Dolphins and the Patriots, they were fighting for who will win the trophy or the bottom feeders, 1 and 3, both of them. And Dolphin pulled it off. So we are the champions of the bottom feeders, the losers. We are the champions of all losers. But we got the best of the Patriots, so we are happy.
All right, thank you. And my Minnesota Vikings, they are outstanding. I have not gotten to this game result. I will look around to see, but they are on a winning spree right now. They have 3 netted right behind us. You know, we are the Vikings. We are moving strong. J. Victor Namwe is a progressive. He's here. He's focused on Liberia political analyst. I would like to say the big brother. How you doing, veteran? Welcome.
Hey, my friend. How are you? Happy Sunday to you. It's good to be here. My Eagles are not faring so well. My Phillies got stumped at home last night by the Mets. So right now the game is in progress. I'll talk to you on the other side of the show, but it's good to be here. Jerome, Mr. C, I think your Vikings were victorious over the Jets today.
Yes, I just saw the score down 23-17.
Absolutely.
We got a job done. Mr. Anthony Gay, who supported Mr. Cummings, he happened to be a member an executive member of, the ANC here in the USA, by the way. He's a panelist here at On Point. It's good to see you. Been a long while now. How you doing?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm doing very well, and I'm glad to be here this evening to discuss the matter pertaining to Liberia. We're also here to, a government that we already predicted that was going to struggle because we saw their performance in the past. We know there's nothing new to expect, but each and every time we will come here to hold them accountable, just to vindicate ourselves and to tell them that CDC and the Unity Party are not the two parties that Liberian people ought to look at. They need to look somewhere else, and we are the alternative.
The Alternative National Congress, they call themselves, whether or not they are, we will get to know when they are given that opportunity to be in charge of the affairs of our nation, just as CDC has and the Unity Party also has. But I am clear on that. These two parties, they are just wasting our time. I just wish our people would see them for who they are. Bunch of some serious group of people who don't mean well for the people, but after looking for their pockets. Joseph Tawo is here, Focus on Liberia panelist. Welcome, brother. How you doing? I understand you are in Texas. Is the sun shining there? Minnesota is getting cold, my man.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Mr. Sid, for having me on today. It's sunny here, but it's cooling down in the mornings and in the evenings. I look forward to being part of the discussion.
Thank you. And folks, what we have on our menu is something that you can share with us this afternoon. It's a political lunch. It will be juicy, and we'll try to intersperse it with pepper. I'm from Granco. We like pepper, So, so the first thing on the menu here is Civil Service Agency boss and mobile money salary payments. The CSA of Liberia has decided that it will now be paying employees of government through the mobile money system because that system is corrupt. There are so many discrepancies with that system. So people will not get their paycheck through the mobile money payment system. The executive, the director general decided that the best to do it is to cancel the entire thing, ask government staff who have been getting paid through that system to go open bank accounts, go back to the CSA, and then they can start getting paid to their accounts directly and not the mobile money. Others are criticizing that process. We will look at that issue today. There's a debate there. Also on the menu, there's been this revelation now of so many terrible roles just popping up on social media, people traveling and showing pictures of the road. We are aware that the current administration, Mr. Barker said, no car will get stuck in the mud. And gentlemen, correct me here, is that 100 days? I think he said, is that 90 days?
He said 90 days.
90 days?
Yes.
All right. The president said, when he was a candidate then, that there will be no car stuck in the mud in 90 days when I become president of this country. Now, Liberians who have been traveling on the roads in Liberia are showing pictures on their Facebook pages. They are doing videos, and these videos are legitimate. They are not made. We see video. I was in Liberia in May. A gentleman got stuck in the mud, and he called me and said, "My man, I'm stuck." The papa said, "Well, I'm going to get stuck in the mud." I'm stuck. I mean, that was May. The rainy season was not that heavy yet. And here we are. Well, so we will talk about that. And there was a $22 million that the government said it was able to secure to rehabilitate the roads to ensure that no car will get stuck in the mud. According to the Public Works Minister, he said out of that 22, they have expended, I think, a little over $8 million. And now we see cars still getting in the mud. Is it because they are yet to spend all the 22? But he said the 22 is for the entire 6 years period. So probably the almost $9 million they spend supposed to take care of this car getting stuck in the mud, but cars are getting stuck in the mud already. Was that money well spent? We will discuss that. The panelists are here. They are well versed, and they are very communicative enough to deal with this issue decisively. And finally, on the menu, the same public works ministry now is embroiled in conflict. The minister proper is sending letter of warning to his deputy. More telling him, if you can't do this, my man, I don't think you will be here. This is gross insubordination. There's another media article that said that they were even engaged into a fist fight. What is going on? This is not the first time, reports of fist fights now surfacing in this government. The last time we saw it at the LDEA, that is the Liberal Drug Enforcement Agency there, and Director Croman and also his deputy were into the huge fist fight. The videos out there, and an investigation was commissioned by the president. That report has been done. It has been on the president's desk, and dust is piling all over it. He is yet to decide. While he's waiting to decide, there's a report from the court that the damn boss, A.B. Croman, admitting, according to news reports, admitting that he bought in $375,000 United States dollars, about $2 million Liberian dollars, and a vehicle belonging to someone who was suspected to have been in possession of illegal drugs. Instead of turning the funds over to the government, he has been in possession of those funds and the car. What is going on here? And the judge is telling him, report those things down. According to the news report, he has confessed of being in possession of these resources. Victor Namwe might be shaking his head, saying, no, during my progressive day, it never happened, but that's a debate for another day. Jerome, I'll start with you here. You have no love for the Unity Party. I don't know what you have for them. Let's get started here on the first issue here. The Civil Service Board, and as many, he is my personal friend, so I am well versed with his reforms that he's been carrying on there. One of the decisions that he's made now is that, no, we can't pay people for money system. This thing is corrupt. Now, others are criticizing and say, look, the teacher in Grand Crew who does not have bank account, he can get money on his phone right now and go buy late pepper to make sure that there's pepper for his cassava, and you cancel it. You want that man to spend thousands of dollars to come to Morovia to open bank account. They don't open bank account in Grand Crew County. So people are criticizing the decision. What say you on the decision by the civil service?
Gentlemen, when you are not speaking, can you mute? I'm hearing noise in the background.
Yes, please.
You know, the civil service director, I have not been a fan of Mr. Jokai. On many occasions, I make fun and call him Mr. Joker because of his policy positions. It looks like the country is in reverse. The country is going backward. I can remember during my young days in Liberia when we had something called a paymaster. The paymaster was a man who manually brought checks to the different counties, and it was so corrupt that for you to cash your own check, he would charge you 10% off the top. He brought a bag of money and your name, and you kind of get your check, you sign for it, you get here 10%, he gave you your money. I thought we have passed that when the CDC came in and they decided to digitize everything. This CSA director came in. He said, using the same system that were put in by CDC, he discovered a lot of ghost names, and he had cleaned the payroll of those names. So if he had done that, why cancel the system that had worked so well for you to now go and say you have to have a bank account? I think you heard the last time when the chairman of the LPP was here. He said in his home county of Lofa, there is no commercial bank, zero, none whatsoever. As huge as Lofa County is, Zozo and the big cities do not have commercial banks. So how then do you expect a person who makes $45 a month to leave Grand Gita, to leave Cape Mount, to leave, like you say, River G, to come to Monrovia I've never heard anything like this. I think either it's a PR stunt, but nobody in their mind, in their right mind, will actually say that we want to go back to the 1960s and do paymaster. Look at the role. How does a paymaster get to Grand Jeter? I mean, it is puzzling. Maybe there's something that we don't know, but this is terrible, Mr. C.
You're muted.
Mr. Namwe, the decision by the CSA, what's your take? And maybe other reforms that they have started at that agency.
You know, I admire Mr. Jokai. I think he's one of the bright spots in this government. He has demonstrated that he's not afraid to disrupt the system, and I give him credit for that. But I think he's also prone to unforced errors, mistakes that are avoidable. Um, we remember here he called on the mayor of the River City Corporation to dismiss employees on his payroll for committing acts of what social media publication, whatever it is, something he had done when he was in the opposition. Out of that, we don't know, the result of that. I remember he attempted to purge the payroll of ghost names and all the irregularities, and therefore he started the employee verification process. That process, I don't know where it has headed, but this one really left me scratching my head. It seems to be putting the onus on the employee, right? As Mr. Gaiman said, how do you expect someone all the way in Grand Crew to go and open an account before they get paid? I think he needs to find a better way to scrub the payroll. I know he means well, but I think the tactics and techniques he's using, they need a little bit of refining. So I kind of give him credit for trying, but I think he needs to try much harder.
All right. Thank you. Dr. Buri, I'm sure you have been following the work of the CSA Honor Director General Josiah Jokai. But the recent one now is that he provided leadership at the CSA that made a decision to cancel the mobile money payment that was convenient for most people in Liberia. The reason is that the whole system is completely corrupt. And he said mobile money payment going to even businesses that are not employees of the Liberian government. His decision is that let's cancel the whole thing. Those who are legitimate employees of the government, let them go open bank account, bring their account information to us, and then they will do direct deposit for them to correct the situation. Others are criticizing that, hey, if you know the bad actors on the payroll who are using the mobile money system, why don't you cancel them instead of canceling the whole thing? But he said the whole process, the whole system there is convoluted. That is his decision. What say you on this issue?
Thank you, Mr. C. I think, look, first of all, when you go to an event and someone pretends to be a good dancer, and the person is dancing and people start cheering for them, they can start doing some starting that ain't supposed to do, like it's for the whole party. And that's basically what he's trying to do here. Because I work for an international research institute, and you look at even NGOs like Save the Children, Oxfam, and these NGOs adapt their payment processes when they go into certain countries where they understand that getting money from one part of the country to another cannot be done through bank transfer. So you then use whatever technology is available. So we, as an organization, with partners that we work with in countries across the world, we use mobile money, right? Because that's the only way you can get the money to people. And how this guy would decide that, look, this is wrong. But not only, look, like you said, Mrs. A, there are aspects that might be broken, right? You can go check out the whole thing to fix one little small part of it. The one that's poor, fix it. So if you can identify that Mr. Nangwe says that he works for ministry or whatever, but then his salary is going to a business account, then investigate. Mr. Nangwe, yes. why is your salary going to a business account and not a personal account? Right? Why is it not a personal mobile money account? Why is it a business? And then Mr. Nami can explain to you why his is a business. He might have a business account that he's doing a little small thing on the side, but the $45 not enough to pay him and take care of his family as well. So he has his business mobile money that he does his. I've got friends in Liberia who sell coffee, and I order my coffee from Liberia, and I pay through mobile money from here to a business mobile money account. And that person might use that same one for their government salary because they just think, what's the point of having two mobile money accounts when I already got one for my business? Just do an investigation. There's an easier way. But the praising, like you praising him, it's a language just praising. And I'm sure a lot of Liberians are praising him, unlike Mr. Gavin, obviously. But he dancing too much now. They praising him, yeah, but he can dance. So he started like coming here back, and now they heading back by he not reached him. So he need to slow down with big because he will hurt a lot of people. Like Mr. Gavin said, most of us in this room, and that's one of the great things about being on this show, is that most of us travel to Liberia often. Most of us go outside of Monrovia often. And we know the banks there, even some of the places you go and they say that bank, they said no money in the bank. You got to roll for the truck to carry the money to the bank. No way. So there's no money in the bank. So even if you pay the man through direct transfer, the man go to the bank, they say no money inside. How you will collect money? Even if there is a place where they have a bank, there is not enough cash in the bank for people to go and withdraw. So I would hope that the CSA, I don't know what is the director general or whatever his title is, will think deeper about this. We'll listen to some of the things that some of us are saying, not just on this platform but other platforms, and go back to the drawing board and say, I think my people have made mistake. They think we should have just done investigation. So we'll reinstate it, and then we'll start to investigate those business accounts. And where we find plausible reasons for getting people out, we get them out until they can tell us why they're using business account. But this is a wrong move and one that will hurt a lot of Liberians.
Thank you. Anthony Gay, I know the reason provided by the CSA through its Director General, Josiah Joka, is that, look, the whole thing is convoluted. There's so much corruption. The best judgment here is to eliminate the whole process right now and let people use their bank account. And because even with their bank account, once you have a bank account and you have a phone, you can link your bank account to your mobile money. You will still have the mobile money process. But this is our best solution, given how it is difficult to collect data from individuals in Liberia. And he's even explained to me, because he's my friend, he explained to me, just to get the PIN, which is the personal action notice, is almost like your employment information for every government agency as we speak. Over 19,000 have not done that over the past 6 years. So he's feeling that because this process alone, the government is losing millions of dollars through the mobile money system because there are people who shouldn't be there and getting this money. So he said when he canceled it automatically, he saved the money. Those who are legitimate employees will show up and then they will be paid. But those who are not legitimate employees that they cannot even identify right now, if they want to identify them, take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, government will be losing a lot of money. So his best judgment is cancel it, you eliminate the bad actors, the actual actors will come, then it will be verified, and then it will get paid. Is it a good decision? Because it's a debatable issue. Where do you stand on this debate?
So yeah, I briefly met Josiah like when we all met in New York, 2018 when we went to projects. He's a very bright young man. He's he has a great intention. I just think his executions are a bit challenging at some point, poor. That's why I say that. First and foremost, mobile money is one of the sophisticated way to transfer money. It was launched in 2007 in Kenya, first country ever launched in the world, and the world adopted it today. So we should be proud of Africa. Africa launched mobile money the first time in Kenya. So it's something that has been tested, something that has been done for over, a long period of time now. So we can't sit here over a decade plus, right? So we can sit here and act as though that mobile money is a bad thing. Now, in economics, we all did economics in school. There is something called division of labor, right? And so if this director of CSA wants to do the right thing, he doesn't have to leave Monrovia. They got people in those various counties who are coordinators, who are this and that. and task them with a task that collect this information from this. And he can find that information to say it takes, a whole year or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years to collect information from people. I mean, I don't know how they're doing it, but each county has a representation, and that representation have a duty to perform, right? So allow these people to collect the information that you need so you can compare it. If you already identify the ghost name, as you have stated, then move on to releasing. First and foremost, if you stop mobile money, you are impacting the macroeconomic aspect of the country economy. That's point number one. It would drastically hurt people economically. Let's just be honest about it. They're not getting that money on time. The person is supposed to pay, that's supposed to, go purchase new goods, not getting it on time, and all of the different things. You are strangulating the already struggling economy. That's what you are doing. Number two, banking sectors in Liberia are struggling to get regular people to open checking account. You know why? Because people don't trust the banking sector. Let's just be honest. The commercial banking sector, people don't trust it. Nobody wants to open an account. It was the same very Josiah Jokai, Director Jokai, that came up with the idea that he will work out a deal with the bank so they can do a bi-weekly payment, but with a caveat or a catch, which of course I disagree with. I had a podcast about that he will negotiate with these banks, and then these people will have to pay 3.5% of that paycheck. So because they are receiving salaries in advance, 2 weeks in advance, and so they will get a 3.5% on a paycheck. They got making $175. You're going to take 3.5% just for 2 weeks? That is not fair to them. They didn't ask for it. Don't impose it on them. But you know what I will do? You know who's going to benefit in the long run? The banks. The banks going to cash out huge chunk of money. They're going to have huge line of clientele that are going to open bank account and all of these different things. So you are using this now at the expense of ordinary struggling civil servants who are not making enough money to open banking account and paying them 2 weeks in advance, and they're getting 3.5% on their interest rate. When he was giving that press conference, if you watch that press conference, you will see me trending. I was like, this is not a good idea. I'm not an economist, and I want to give this disclaimer here. But here's one thing I know for sure, that this process of stopping mobile money payment will strangulate the macroeconomy of Liberia, because we need cash flow. We need people to be able to get that money on time and be able to purchase things that they need, so that the other business, the local business people also can go and buy goods and bring it back to them so they can continue their life. But if you stop the payment now, can you still pay people and resolve this issue of government paying too much people? Absolutely yes. If you already identify the ghost name, according to him, that's what he said. They have identified the ghost name in the system. Then why worry about the other people who getting the money? If this man does not show up to pay, you don't have to send the money to him. Because in order to pay an employee, you must identify that employee is showing up to work. If that employee is not showing up to work, don't pay them. How hard is that? So by stopping mobile money, how does that solve that other problem? I'm a little confused here, right?
Yeah.
The only thing you can convince me. Let me explain with this point that you can come in. Okay, go ahead.
No, let me come with that, because I'm sure you don't have all the facts, and I'm sure you have not reached out to the CSA. What is leading them to making a decision that will take away a process that has been easier for so many people? There must be a cause to this. Maybe this has been causing a lot. So let me give you the record, because I'm
then that record need to be given to us.
Listen. Yes, it is. The Civil Service Agency of Liberia canceled the mobile money payment system due to the discovery of several unexplained and questionable transactions. Okay. These transactions raised serious doubt about the integrity of the system. Yes, the number. You had the numbers, right? The CSA found that the government was being defrauded approximately 1.6 million US dollar and LD 89.3 million annually through the mobile money payment system alone.
Okay.
You following that? You're talking about 1.6 million and 89.3 million Liberian dollars annually through the mobile money system. So they are saying when we cancel this, there's a tendency that we can save the Liberian government this 50% or even more of this money immediately. If we say we will order individually, we have already been losing money, this huge amount annually for over how long now, we can't tell exactly. Why continue the process for the Liberian government to continue to lose the money? So
here's my question to that.
Because the thing is that the CSA is saying it's not that we don't want to pay these people, but the system here is convoluted, is corrupt, and we are losing 1.6 million and 89 million Liberian dollars.
All right. So my question to you here and to the CSA boss, if he has an opportunity or if you have time to speak to him, is that, look, you only give me numbers, right? And I'm a number guy. You only give me number. You did not give me specificity as to how that number reflect to what you just said. You just put out some numbers right now. This point, this point, that. That's all you give me. Now, if John works for me, if I were to pay John, I have to make sure that John show up to work at least 26 days in a month. Removing the Saturday and Sunday, at least 26 or 24 days in a month, right? If John did not do so, payment would not be authorized to John. It's simple as that. Every department, every county has a number of employees, has a number of civil servants. They should know those numbers of people in each county, in each district, in each administrative district. They should know. Now, you pay those people that you know. The one that you're not too sure of, you hold on to that pay. You cannot penalize everybody because you think that there is a fraud in the system, right? So you pay those people who are legitimate first and hold on to the pay of those that you assume or you already perceive as being illegitimate. And then they should show up for that money. But you can't penalize everybody in the process of trying to correct something. I don't get it.
Let's see, I have a question when Mr. Gay is done.
Yes, ask your question, then I'll go to Joe. Go ahead.
No, I just want to know, are we aware of the CSA director taking a tour of the country yet since he took office?
I know he's gone to other counties. I am not aware of a complete tour of the whole country.
Okay. The reason I'm asking this, and I agree with Anthony, I said it earlier, I think it's wrong for him to put the problem on the shoulders of the civil servants to verify that they are legitimate or not. Yes, I think he's trying to solve a problem, but I think he's creating a problem much bigger than he's trying to solve. So when you do the math, it looks like somewhere around $2 million go to waste because of this inability to identify legitimate employees. I'm wondering whether the civil service director can take a team of verifiers, maybe including himself, and tour the country on payday. It'll probably take him a week or two, go from county to county, grease in the farthest reaches of our country, and verify who these people are.
Number to your point, right? What I also know is that the CSA has been doing hair count of all the spending entities.
Right.
Now, it is from their hair count, they have come to realize that there are over 6,000 questionable persons on the payroll. The CSA went to work and blocked those individuals from getting paid. The 6,000 plus people, they blocked them because they have not been verified.
Okay.
After they have done the hair counts of all the spending entities, they discover over 6,000 people who have questionable employment. So they block them. So they said if the individual are actually legitimate employees, now that we block them, they will come to the CSA to verify because we could not verify them thoroughly during the hair count. So let me log pay and see. So then they give them 90 days. Okay. If anyone shows said, my man, you block me, I'm in Grand Crew. I'm actually, an employee of the yes, my ID card. This is when I employ. That person will be giving their money. Now, with the mobile money case, He's not blocking, he's canceling the whole system because it's costing the Liberian government too much and it's difficult to verify because some of these people, according to the CSA, they can't even find their employment record. So how can you verify such?
But
Hold on, let me land. Cancel the system. You understand? Right. And we all know that people have been canceling the system. When it's convoluted, you can't get grasp of the whole thing. The best thing to do is to make an announcement that we're canceling the system. The legitimate people can come. I mean, Buri, you're shaking your head, but go ahead. I'm just
so we're saying
let me make his point first.
Real quick, I know you gotta go to Joe Tower here, but listen to this.
Just concluding. Hang on, Jerome.
Yeah,
so the problem that
Jerome, let me conclude. Joe, I know I'm being unfair to you, but I'll give you sufficient time, brother.
Yeah, is it in addition to the 6,000, or this is all in an attempt to address the 6,000?
That I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, that
all right.
That was going to be my question to Mr. Nangwe, but thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, because we're talking 70,000 employees on government payroll. 6,000 is less than 10%, and I just don't understand why the whole process must be brought to a standstill just to solve a less than 10% problem. This is what confuses me, but I'll give the floor.
Number information and data in Liberia is insufficient. I know that for a fact. So, please make your 30 seconds. I gotta go to tell you.
Yeah, Mr. Game, wait. That need me the call, Mr. CA. With all due respect, it seems to me that you're trying to defend the CSA, right?
That's I'm providing the information I know. No. Listen.
That's my observation.
I made it clear. I made a disclaimer that this man is my personal friend.
That's what let me say. That's an personal friend, but they have the conversation.
Yeah, I don't have all the details. I can't have all the details.
That's a small part of my comment. Let me finish, and then you understand. It seems to me that you're trying to defend the CSA because the point here is, if 10% of the system is broken, right? Even blocking the 10%, I believe is wrong. Because you, again, like Mr. Nangwe pointed out, you're putting the burden on the people to prove that they're employed with you. You have accountants, you have the IAA, you have all the other AA, then the other AA and other AA. Let them go AA. Let them go and check on these people. Who are these 6,000? You do not put the CSA has been employed, created by the Liberian government to do a job, to make sure that every human being on our payroll is legitimate. That's their job. It's not the employees that's supposed to be coming to prove that they're legitimate. The CSA job is to make sure that these people are legitimate. Go and do your job that we're paying you to do. Don't pass the burden on to the poor man that you're already paying for the fact that ain't plenty. Then you say you do the job. When your job, and I like the question of Mr. Nami, why are you sitting in Monrovia? There are more employees outside of Monrovia. Go there, go check, call the name. Wait a minute, Anthony C. Okay, Anthony, you on the list here, my man. I know, then we'll call you up. You go and check on the 10%. And then on top of that, you now decide that, oh no, say we finish blocking 10%, which is wrong. Now we're going to take it even further. We're going to cancel everything. And then those are your that in places that can't even reach now. That the burden is on you to go and say, oh, but you can transfer your money from bank account. Places don't have banks. So how are you going to get the bank account before you will transfer money from bank account to mobile money? Why are you putting the burden on people when your job, the reason that my tax, your tax, Mr. Gaiman's tax, Mr. Tower's tax is paying CSA Director General thousands of US dollars is for him to get it off his butt, go to the work and do the work.
The point is made, right? But I want to get a Tower here. I'm feeling that I'm not being fair to him.
That's why you're the doctor.
The CSA is the ones receiving the information. In its judgment, it makes sense to save millions of dollars, to suspend the process, and they are providing an option.
You sounding like a spokesman.
The process, right, I'm explaining what it is. Listen, I'm explaining. It is not denying the legitimate people on payroll their salary, except that the system, the mobile
money. If you cancel the mobile money for people where don't have bank accounts, you are denying them their salaries. That's what you're doing. If you cancel mobile money and I get bank account, you are denying me my salary.
Mr. CA.
Yes.
Mr. CA.
30 seconds. Now go to
Mr. Josiah Joko is incompetent. He talks a lot and has honored the labor. First of all, there's a major question in Liberia now. You say you cancel 6,000 people off the payroll. 800 from additional 800 from the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, and then another one from Ministry of Transport. So to close to over 7,000 people. And when the
and plus 200 more at Central Bank.
Yes, and then when the wage bill came, the wage bill is higher than it has ever been in the past 6 years. And you took 10,000 people off the payroll and you canceled their check. How come the payroll is ballooning at a lower rate than it was? That's all I want to say.
So, Mr. Gibbon, to that point, right? If they increase the salary for the big shot, like for example, the Ministry of Presidential Affairs, you're just looking at the recast budget, the Ministry of Presidential Affairs, its budget rose from 10 to 12 million. That does not necessarily mean that because they added more people on the payroll. Now, for example, the legislature, their budget, what's the figure again? They went up by about $3 million.
In the president's office?
I just mentioned Ministry of Presidential Affairs, so that's the president place there, right? So that's what has happened. So it cannot be that because they added more people on the payroll. I just want to make that point. We got to get to Joe here, please, gentlemen.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Joe, your turn. This is debatable, my friend. You're following the discussion. Where do you stand? Is the decision by the CSA boss, is he in error? Is it a bad decision?
Look at what happened here. I come here as a Liberian. Not as a sedition, not as a UP person, not as ANC or anything else, or not as ULA. Yeah, and the reason I want to say this is because so I'm not trying to defend anybody or any government or accuse anybody. But look at what happened here. I think that we don't understand a lot of the things that happen in Liberia. Because people give all kinds of examples, right? And they're quick to say the great United States that we live in here. I've been in the USA, I've done business in many areas, and I've been part of many things. And if they see that our system is questionable, and they think that the first structure that was set up, if it is not good, they cancel it and they do application. I've gone through that process myself several times. I'm going through one of that now, in the course of 3 years. So there is really nothing wrong with that. Now, where the problem would be is the intent. Is it actually genuine, or is it just to force some people out? But if we look at Liberia is a very difficult place. They're saying, don't put a burden on the people that are making $10 or $5. You know that the structure that we have in Liberia, whenever one group of people come there, the same laws are in place when they put out other CSA director there. They carry all kinds of mango stuff. They stack the area with all kinds of people. They do all kinds of things. So you're saying Josiah Joka should get up and start walking around all over the place, or go to Grand Crew, go to this place? That is not really what the process is. If we are losing money, if the country is losing money through all of this stuff, and they've done the investigation, and for the last 7 or 8 months, they've been sending out 9 months, they've been sending out report that they needed to verify. And let us try to separate this stuff. They're not canceling mobile money. Because when they put it that way, it's like they canceling no. They're saying they put mobile money is a small portion of people in government that are getting paid through that means. This does not have anything to do with the businesses, with regular people that are doing mobile money among themselves. So let's clarify that. Now, if they look at it and they have the record and they find out that, look, this stuff right here is just not working, even though we have 40% that is good, but the entire way this thing was set up is just not good. So what we're going to do is we're going to close it, and we're going to do restructuring to do re-registration, reapplication. If that is the process, at least to be able to save money to put a structure in place, then that's fine. But guess what? If they were to leave, because this is how Liberia work, if they were to leave, the next government come in place will pick on that and start something else. But my point here is this: is that ghost names, there are a lot of ghost names. I will point out the port system, because I have people that were working at the port. I have somebody that was deputy director for loan and operation at Central Bank. When George Weah came to power, I was in Liberia. They pushed so many people at the Central Bank, and I went over there was no seat. It was like if you go to the clinic or if you go to Walmart and you're standing in the line, people just, and I said, who are these people? They said, oh, the CDC people that are saying here. There was no process of them. They were getting paid directly. They didn't have to go through anything. So these are the things I wanted to put up Buchanan where they were. If you go there, you have almost another 200-300 people that just hanging around. This was consistent when CDC came in at almost every institution. So whether they were legally employed, I don't know. But so if they have to clean that list, then let them clean it. But guess what? As they are going to be trying to clean it, they're going to go ahead to and do their own. So let us be honest here. It's not just that they raised the other budget here by 1 million or this that made the wage bill to go that high. They themselves, they're cleaning it so they can put their own people. That is why I'm saying I'm not here to defend anybody accused, because none of them are really genuine. And look, Mr. Gabe made a strong point here. If you can force people to go get bank account, that is wrong. What they can do is, okay, look, this process is not working. We see it this way. We verify maybe 40%, but because of how the system is set, we're going to go ahead and cancel the entire thing and do reapplication or re-verification. People can reapply and come and start it over based on what we think will work, right? That we can monitor, that we can verify. But you can't tell people that you're just going to close it, they should go open bank account. Even inside Monrovia, you don't even have the infrastructure in the bank. I've gone to the bank many times. Right there near the mansion or on 12th Street or 17th Street, whatever you want to call it. You get in there is no room. You get close, the system down. So
thank you.
Monrovia even serve them right. But still made a point here, Mr. Gay made a point here that if Josiah Joker, if it is true that he is trying already to go ahead and make arrangement for banks to force people into the banking sector so that they can start charging people money, then this is a sign of corruption. Then it means he's negotiating on behalf of the banks to swell their profit. And what does he stand to gain? So you have to be careful.
All right, Mr. Tower, this is a debatable issue. Like the CSA has a reason, and other people have concerns with it. Other people have disagreement. But I'm just stating the argument here that the government is losing 1.6 million US dollar and 89.3 million or Liberian dollars annually through the mobile money process, and they cannot actually verify all the people in the mobile process, money payment system. So they want to cancel it, and then they believe that's why we can't, correct the situation.
Mr. Steele, real quick, and I say I agree with that. That if they think that they see it, because they are in there, they're looking at the record, and I think they should cancel it, and then let it be a reapplication where they can actually then verify it and re-admit people. I agree with that. Actually.
Thank you. And I think
Mr. Sear, 30 seconds before we move on to the next topic. 30 seconds, please, before we move on to the next. Before we move to the next topic.
You're going to open bank account. You can do that.
All right, you get your 30 seconds.
So yeah, like I said, he had a great intention. You want to do good for Liberia. Look, Mr. Sear, I did bookkeeping and accounting for 1 year. I can tell you for a fact, I'm not an accountant. I can't say I'm a financial expert, whatnot, but I can tell you basic 101. Payments are not automatic to a person. Whether direct deposit or mobile money transfer, it's not automatic. An accountant of a company have to process that payment through the banking sector or the mobile money sector. That's how it works. So if they already identify 6,000, like you just mentioned here, then they should focus on those 6,000. Those other people that they are already identified that are legit in the system, let them receive their pay as usual. Mr. CA, we are talking about people receiving their pay on time, point number one. Point number two, for the macroeconomy to stay afloat. He's talking about saving $89 million over a year period. He will cost the economy more than $89 million in a year period if he just shut the whole mobile money thing down. Speak to economists, come back to me, and come let us know. Economics is not one thing.
It's not the entire mobile. Listen. It's not the entire mobile money payment system in the country. According
it's
to
for
that,
7, right?
These are individuals who get paid through the mobile money system, and they are questionable.
Correct.
Fine.
So if they are questionable, then the one that are not questionable, what can they receive their payment? And the one that are questionable, stop their payment for them. Look, you have to identify the problem, find solution to the problem. That's what we call divide and conquer in my field, right? You identify the problem and you conquer the problem.
Any other person want 30 seconds before we go to the next topic?
Mr. C, do we also know if they've tried to use the two-step verification that most of the carriers here use over here? I'm sure all their concerns is authentication to make sure the person who say they are who they are actually who they are. I think all of us here are not disagreeing with any attempt, all right, to purge the payroll of ghost names and save the government money. But our concern is if you're going to do it at the expense of the people who are already suffering, imposing undue hardship, then it is unfair and unjust. The government, yes, it means well, but it should bear the burden of trying to verify these people. I just feel that the method, the manner in which it is being done, I think is cruel. I think it's going to impose undue hardship on the people. That's what my concern. So maybe the two-step verification. I don't know. It sounds simplistic, but I know they use it here over and over. They send you a question or whatever it is, you answer it. Other than that, he should really get out of Monrovia and get into the leeward side of the country and do spot verifications. Send his team of trusted people to help him out.
Yeah, I can't answer that. I don't know that. What I know is the CSA made effort to reach out to the mobile money company people, and they even involved the code to subpoena the entire record from the mobile money company. And what they have identified is troubling. I don't think, I know I speak, this is my friend, this is an incredibly smart guy. It could be any of you. You will not just get and cancel the entire system without trying to see what is the best solution. And I can all disagree, but in his best judgment, given the information he's privy to, he said the best thing to do is to cancel the system. And we have our disagreement.
The gentleman may be smart in management. That's what it is.
Yeah.
He got picture all on Facebook with his wife and children eating lobster.
The last time I visited you, hold on. The last time I visited Mr. Goodman in Florida, he invited me. A institution having a program. I went there to cover it. You know what the guy did? He took me somewhere. We're on a boat and a lobster. All the food in front of us, we ate.
A private matter. Not private. I want to.
No, I ain't taking a private matter.
The next issue. I enjoyed the lobster that day, Mr. Gilman. Thank you. Bude, any 30 seconds before we go to the next issue?
No, yeah. I think look, my point I want to make is I think you know the way that you're presenting it seems like you're putting up a defense.
I don't want you to keep saying that.
No. I have more information
on the issue. I have more information on the issue as a moderator. I have to present that information for you to be in the best position to disagree. For it to be seen as though I'm defending the man, I don't get it.
I'm telling you why, but if you allow me to speak, I'll tell you why I'm saying it. Because you are saying that, oh, well, but that was his best judgment. But the best judgment is wrong. You do not disadvantage. You do not impoverish a group of Liberians. They're already impoverished, by the way, because you're trying to solve an issue. Look, we're not the brightest people in the world. We're bright. Those of us on here, we're bright, but not the brightest. If we can see a problem, You cannot tell me this your friend is that brilliant and can't see the problem, right? If we can see the problem. We can see the problem that you're going to put people into poverty. You're going to harm the economy, like Mr. Gay said. You're going to hurt people. People are not going to be able to get their money for months. Look, the system is there for a reason. I agree that yes, CDC brought thousands of people to put on payroll. That's bad. You want to purge the payroll. That's brilliant, sir. That's very brilliant. And keep going. But do it in a way that doesn't harm ordinary Liberian people. How do you do that? You identify those minimum accounts that are questionable. You investigate those accounts. And if you can't find answers, you close those down, and the people will come forward and say, "Oh no, but why you close my B down? Let my information here to verify." That's simple. You do not go and shut the entire payment process down, and those people who don't have access to banks, ask them to open bank account. That is not the right way. And I believe that if he is as brilliant as you claim that he is, then he will realize that I made a mistake with it here. The way everybody not talking that is so, I made a mistake. Let me change it and do it differently. If he is that brilliant. So we will wait and see.
You are muted.
Now that will take us to the next issue after this very brief break. Please don't go anywhere. The next two topics are even hotter.
Our country, sweet Mandela, our country, that God gave us this country. Tell Labiran, that God gave us this country. We are calling on everyone here to come and pray for this country, Labiran, God gave us this country.
Indeed and indeed. And that will take us to our last two topics. Let us note them collectively. I want to open the phone line soon enough for those who are following to participate in the discussion because they are kind of linked. Terrible road conditions revealed by travelers. When now President Bouaka was contesting as then Kennedy Bouaka, he made a promise that no car will get stuck in the mud in 90 days when elected as president. We are into the 9th month now, if I'm not mistaken, of his presidency. And he made some effort towards that. His government, according to the Minister of Public Works, secured $22 million. And of that 22, they have directed a little over 8 million to their no car get stuck in a month operation. They spend pretty close to $9 million to correct what has been a problem in Liberia, that there will be no more cars getting stuck in the month. They've done that because he explained that the entire 22 million is not for only no road car gets stuck in the mud. It's for the road rehabilitation project they want to carry on throughout the 6 months period. So that is to say, what is set aside to correct in operation no car gets stuck in the mud is like say done. And did they achieve the goal of no car gets stuck in the mud? From pictures and videos of travelers, Liberians, including myself, that is far from true. People are getting stuck in the mud even more than ever before, especially in season. Did the government spend this money well? I want to argue, and I'm going to be part of the discussion. I would have loved for the government to say, well, we will spend about 9 million on, let's say, the road from Grand Jida to Maryland and pave it and solve that mud problem for all. But when they were grading this road, what they did, they were putting the same dirt on the road. And when the rain falls on that dirt, it turned to mud. So instead of removing mud, you are creating mud. And that's what we have today. Let's start with you or Joe this time. Operation No Car Gets Stuck in the Mud, almost $9 million spent. Money well spent All this is common in Liberia. Once rainy season, the
Look at
roads
what
will be
happened
bad
here.
anyway. This is not new.
Yeah, I will give us a little background that a lot of us don't know when it comes to Liberia, when it comes to all of this road work, right? We know, yeah, we know that everybody, if you look, everybody from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to Wea, especially George Weah when he was there, and then Abuaka. The first thing they jump on is road, right? They all want to fix road. Y'all hear them? But nobody know why. And you know that each time they're ready to say they want to fix road, it's always outside the budget, right? Because people are complaining that Boyka was doing it when there was no budget approved, but they don't know why. It has all the road fund were always set up long time ago, even on a Samuel Doe them when and on a Taylor them when to charge the gasoline people just like they do it here in the US. You know that Ellen did not know at first when she took office of somebody that worked very closely in her office. When Ellen got to find this out, I'm not going to give the name, but I'm going to say this on the record. She found out that there was all this money. You know that she took 12% of this road fund off the top for the 12 years that she was in office. So the road fund is money that is actually generated that is there. So when you saw Open running around that he wrote borrow medicine, it was the ploy for them to loot this money. It is the same thing that Boyka did. This money, it is money that you don't need.
You say you're not here to accuse anybody, but your accusations are strong.
No, I'm putting out this information. So when you saw, so all the other money that you have to raise.
Yeah, I'm surprised you put Yola name in the whole thing yet.
No, I will come to Yola last. Because I'm disappointed. But look, so if you see, because I'm just trying to tell you, anytime you talk about road project in Liberia, right? We're not talking about the major highways, but we're talking about just those feeder roads and all the stuff. There was a lot of money there, tens of millions of dollars that you don't have to go. The money is already generated. So that is why. So you don't have to wait at it, like when they do the budget, or the other one you have to wait to raise that money throughout the year. The road money is already generated. It is that money that Boyka then saw. They needed to loot. That is how I was saying it on one of our shows. So they went in there, they pulled that money out, and everybody was complaining that how can they pull this outside the budget where the money is already there? It's sit there. They don't have to go into. It's not raised by the budget, like it's reflected in the budget, but it's money that's generated as the people bring the fuel and the charge up front. So as the Boyka government was saying that they were fixing this road, no road was being fixed. They took the money, they shared that money. I went ahead, I was trying to find the breakdown on how they awarded the contract and the dollar amount per mile or kilometer or that they awarded. Very, very expensive for a road where some of these things are like about almost $500,000 per mile, especially one company that got contract to do most of the project in Lofa. Okay, I was trying to find it on Front Page Africa to pull it, but I just could not find that data anymore. But it's there and it's laid out. So this is what you guys did. When they said no car getting stuck in the road, I had nieces that after they went to school, they had to go do their internship in Grand Crew. They had to go to Maryland, and when they were boasting Kamara on the show, and I brought that up, they almost died on that road. They spent 3 days to get from Monrovia to Grand Crew. And the young lady said she was worried throughout when the program was about to end, how they were going to get back. This is in the middle of Boyka. No car will get stuck in the mud in that 90 days. So they didn't do any work. They really didn't do any work. They just went ahead, put a couple of yellow machines, and they took that money. And they're telling you that it's only 8 million. There is another 22 million. They ate that money already. The road work, you find out this is not going to be the last one. Or you will hear another road project. This money is actually available money that they all play in. They roll fund. and we should put emphasis on that.
All right. Thank you, Joe. 100 days, no car gets stuck in the mud. So much evidence of cars getting stuck in the mud. Same water, I didn't travel to Grand Jita. When I was in Labrador recently, I went to Lofa County. I didn't go to Grand Jita. I didn't even go to my hometown of Grand Cru because I didn't want to get stuck in the mud because I would have actually gotten stuck, and Mr. Namwe will be the first to tell you that we decided it's not we all were getting stuck. Yeah, Mr. Namwe, I want us to tie the two issues together, right? There's infighting at the very works ministry. The minister proper, our own friend Giddens, who's been here many times, we're trying to reach out to him. I hope he would come and explain to us why he's doing at the Ministry of Public Works. He issued a letter the other day to his deputy warning him. I don't know, you've been around any administration more than I have been, you know, that the boss, they were all appointed because this is government. He was appointed, the man was appointed, but he's issuing him letter of money. I thought such letter should be coming from the president, but now they are report that they almost like engaged in a fist fight, similar to what we saw at the LDEA. What is going on here? And people are raising concern that the money was not spent properly. You know, we got cheated here on this project.
You know, I really have to agree with Mr. Tao on many of the points that he's making. The president, I have to give him credit for having a heart to internalize the plight of our people, and I think he has a great deal of empathy. But I really question his mechanics, you know, his execution, his implementation. There are a lot of things here that really, really baffle a lot of us, and some of them are very simple. So the Polo minister spent over almost $10 million, $9 million. $9 million could have probably gotten 50 of these 285 yellow machines that this president, you know, went over when it did the math. The whole thing probably cost around $50 million, 285 pieces of those. We don't need 285. We could have got 100. And the Public Works Ministry could have spent $10 million and gotten probably 100 of these pieces, and they would have done a better job. That wasn't done. So that problem is here, and the president is going all over the place trying to beg, you know, find money to bring it into the country. The resources are here. You alluded to the infighting at the Ministry of Public Works. We heard of the infighting at the LDEA, but nothing has been done. We don't hear anything being done at all by this president. The investigation at the LDEA was long since concluded. And so, to go back to Mr. Tao, there is money in the road fund that does not need the government to collect revenue to begin its work. So you have that advantage. Sit properly, plan properly, and execute. I don't think that was done. So the minister gets up. Initially wanted $22 million. I think he finally got $8.9 million or whatever it is. And that money, I'm not sure if we got the best, you know, bang for that money that he spent. I mean, the roads are, like you're, you know, indicating, the pictures are all over the place now. Obviously, we all said it, that at the time we were in a dry season, and the road, the way they conditioned the road, was not prepared for the rainy season. And the rainy season is here, and everything we said is coming true. You know, I don't think it means we're that smart. It just means, you know, we understand the road conditions in Liberia. So we have all of these things happening, and the president is very quiet, right? How is it that the minister can write a letter of suspension of his colleague, both of whom were appointed by the president? He's not the boss of Prince Tamba. You know, they're colleagues, they work together. The last time we saw that was from my friend Alfred Dennis at the Bureau of Technical Services, or commission, or whatever it was. He fired his deputy, I believe, and then informed the president that, look, the guy you sent here, you know, I just fired him. And we know that was reversed. So there is precedent to indicate that this is not how it is done. So I don't know why Mr. Gidding would have done that. That's the second strike, I believe, against him. the attempt to spend almost $9 million on the road without proper engineering supervision. That's what I would say. Otherwise, I don't think they would have spent it the way they did. And he went to the legislature and begged for forgiveness, and they forgave me. They forgave him. The president said nothing. He's still there. So now the rainy season is here. I know the president means well. He really is trying to alleviate our people's plight. The roads are horrendous. I come from the southeast, and I know something about bad roads. And I think the president understands. Him coming from Lofa, he really intends to do something about all of these. But he has to really sit down. I don't know how much time he's given to sit and reflecting on these problems. He's traveling a lot. I think that alone takes away his ability to actually sit down and reflect on some of these things. I don't know how many cabinet meetings he has had. He needs to really bring his team together and tighten things up. He's really looking bad. He's looking really, really bad. At the beginning of the show, you read to us about what the courts now are trying to get the former LDA director, Croman, to do, because he apparently took people's properties and appropriated these unto himself. The reports we read, $375,000, another $200 million or whatever it is. Maybe this is why the president's having difficulty making a decision, because the reports were that Fadiga was on his way out and A.B. Croman was. But apparently, this is what he knows. That's why he's holding on to the report. He doesn't want to go with A.B. Croman, so then go with somebody else. But I'm really concerned and baffled by whether it is indecision, whether it is compromised. I don't want to think the president is compromised, but it is really beginning to look that way. Because some of these decisions are really straightforward decisions. Straightening our public works and your roads will get fixed. Straightening our DEA and your drug problem will get solved. I don't think you need a rocket scientist to figure this out. So I'm really concerned because we are almost 10 months in, and I can't really, really, really look to anything that I can credit this government with. I know they made several attempts on a number of things. The transparency group, the local team came by here. I think 3% of the promises he made.
You're gonna get in trouble with Sam Wallow that you can't find it to get the government credit for.
So I'm really anxious to give this government a lot of credit. I know I supported the CPP. I will have to say that, but I want them to succeed because, like I always say, they're not the government. When they do well, our people will do well. But they just seem to be in a hurry to do the wrong things almost every time. So I'm hoping that he will finally make a decision on public works. He will finally make a decision on LDEA. He will finally make a decision on the audit of his campaign financing. There are all these decisions that are lying down waiting for him to make a decision. So I'm becoming frustrated.
Mr. Namboye, thank you. It was infighting at LDEA. The president said nothing, and now the director general is in court, and according to news report, he's admitted of taking $375,000 United States dollars, a vehicle belonging to the person he went to arrest, who was in possession of illegal drugs. And then you're talking about $3,000 Liberian dollars. Who does that? And we have not heard a single decision yet, because this is one of the president's signature pronouncement that we will sanitize our youth. He declared this drugs crisis as an emergency. The two guys hailing the thing were fighting, and now look at the other revelation. And then another thing, Joseph Walker is the roll guy, right? Rolls. This is your mantra. It's from 2017 to now. And the guy you put in charge first admitted, all right, of violating our laws when he was doing his work. He begged for mercy. He's been mercy. And now he's engaged into a fist fight, taking unilateral decision against his deputy and issuing a letter of warning, and the president stay quiet just because this guy is from the Unity Party. Is this guy going to fix Liberia? Anyway, here are some of the pictures, my people. There are some of the contractors here that they road the building here. This is where they're spending the 9 million. Yes, the mud, they're just piling all over the place. And Water want us to give them credit. He has that list, that meaningless list. These promises now are accomplishment for Water. All the people in China, they have MOUs. Mr. Gabriel, how many? What? It's like Mayor Ramney said, banner of women. They got banner of MOUs. And we our people are still waiting. But let me give Booty the chance. This is a serious discussion, Booty. I just try to put all the information out there that these are the things that are happening. Their road thing is a major problem. The president gave the impression that he was serious about these things. The guys in charge, they are making these errors. He's not showing that he's not happy with them.
I'm just showing you the memo, the file of the MOU. So MOU. Mr. Wallo, MOU. I got a file here.
Let me go. Thank you, Mrs. Here. Look, I think when Mr. Nango was speaking, I'm disagreeing with a lot of the things that he said, right? And I'm going to point those things out. But then the thought that crossed my mind was that President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is an enigma, right? Because she, in her way, was trying to warn us that this guy wasn't competent to be president of Liberia, which is why, after serving with him for 12 years, right, she decided not to support him. That was the first time, and I know it's happened, maybe it's happened other places before, but that was the first time that I've seen a presidential candidate is leaving office and does not support their vice president to replace them. And I'm sitting there thinking, was she trying to tell the Liberian people something? That this guy is not capable of being number one, right? I'm a football fan, and many times you've got a team managed by a good manager, and they say, oh, the assistant coach will go and become a good manager. He goes somewhere, he just flop, right? And for me personally, I've said it many times on the show, and I don't want to sound like a broken record. The president cannot demonstrate that he has a spine. It is worrying for the Liberian people because any government, whether it be where you guys live in the United States or where I live in the UK, if the lieutenant of a government like the president in the US or the prime minister in the UK are doing things to undermine the administration, the head of the government is asking for your resignation the next morning. It's like, look, you aren't doing your job, out. I replace you with someone. They've got this thing in the UK, we call it cabinet reshuffle. I'm sure they got it in the US as well and in other places. As soon as you start doing things that is undermining what we came to deliver to the people, what we promised them, you're out because you're not serving the good of our people. And this president is finding it difficult, one, to speak to the Liberian people and tell them what the heck is going on in his government. Two, to take decisions that demonstrate that he has a spine. That, look, I am the boss. I am the sheriff in town. If I ask you, Mr. Woody, to do A, to do B, or to do C, and you do not do that, out, you're going. Because I have to tell Mr. CA that you see how Woody gone? You try it next time, you the next person going. Game in here, don't listen. If CA gone, you going too. This president has to decide what he wants to do. I believe he's incapable of running the affairs of our country. I've said it many times and I'll continue to say it until he can start to prove me wrong. These guys are wasting our time, wasting our money, running behind a nonsensical and irrelevant seat on the UN Security Council. And they're lying to us, oh yeah, when we sit down there, we'll get extra money from who? The US in 2006 used to give people bribes to vote their way because their face had mud on it because they went and lied to us, say they were a weapon of mass destruction, and everybody were against it. So it's okay, let's go to the UN Security Council, we'll bribe one or two people to vote with us. These days, they don't have to do that. They just veto everything. So you think they will get Liberia money because we're on Security Council? You're wasting our time and money when you're supposed to be fixing the everyday problems of the Liberian people. One last thing I'll say, 2011, I had the opportunity, I was invited by then President Sirleaf with some of my colleagues to go to the independence celebration in Lofa County, Punjab. And they road are not paved. They turned yellow machine before we went. They did the same dirt that you're talking about. They pounded dirt. They pounded in a way that it was so solid that as it was raining, we were able to drive on it to go there, do the celebration, go as far as Kolahun. On dusted, paved, dusted. I call it paved, dusted because it was dusted, but it was paved. When I said paved, it wasn't concrete, it wasn't coated as we know it. It was dirt. The same dirt that we're talking about today that they put him on a roll, we falling down all of this. So they did it to go local in 2011 for independence. We took all the people president and they were all that road was sweet. I remember the driver was running, said, I tell my man, slow down, they think small, but I stay young. And you know, so how is it possible that we have the expertise as a country to do it in 2011? And you're telling me now the same dirt that we put on local road in 2011, we able to put that down Grand Gita Road to survive the rainy season like it did. We went for 26 in July when it rained heavy. You're telling me that we could do it in 2011 and we've lost the expertise. How is that possible? This president is not able to do this thing. Whether it be his health, whether it be the fact that he's just in over his head because he thought he could be number one and he can't. Whatever it is, he needs to do. And I disagree with Mr. Nangbe, and I don't like it because I respect him very much. When he said that this president has the Liberian people at heart, he doesn't. Because no president with his health condition, with his inabilities, with the struggles that he had even before he came to the presidency, will put himself forward, knowing how difficult this job is to serve. When you know you're able to think it, he had 6 years to reflect, Mr. Nangbe. 6 years. When George Weah was chakling in there too, he had 6 years to reflect. This man should have had a playbook set. So from day one to day whatever, soon as he enters the office, he has 6 years to write his essay, write his assignment, write his strategic plan, whatever you want to call it. He sat down there, whatever he was doing, I know. He came to office and now they start writing the playbook. You don't do that. He's messing up our country. He needs to get his act together. Look, I like the puppy personally as an individual, but as president, he's messing up and he needs to stop.
President Waka is a waste of time. I know many of you know me from speaking my mind. You know, I don't get but damn. Man, it's a waste of time. He's not a leader that we need for our country at this time. Mr. Gilman, you and President Waka share the same birth date. That your buddy we're talking about here. And this is the role thing he made his signature program. Roles. When I asked Waka a question, what is your plan for Liberia? He said roles. I think he called it like 7 times. And here we are. He put Giddens in charge. This man is messing up. The man is now falling PPCC. The contracts being given to questionable individuals that can't even do the job. And now he's putting the blame on his deputy. And here we are. Cars are getting stuck in the mud and the president is quiet. How can we resolve this issue? Is it money well spent? About $9 million. Is it well spent?
First of all, Joseph Waka I don't want anybody here to separate Joseph Waka from the corruption that is going on. I think the young man on our show here, Mr. Morris, said Joseph Waka is the epitome of the godfather in the Italian mafia. He sits back like nothing is happening. Then he sends his adjutants to watch people and then bring back the booty. That's exactly what's going on. Now let's look at Joseph Waka from the old school, right? If you can remember, the former Minister of Justice, Mr. Banks, they said they arrested a drug dealer, Nigerian drug dealers, I think it was 2007, 2008. I think they took like $500,000 from the man, and the gentleman went to court. They found out the money was legit. They asked the Liberian government to return the money. The Minister of Justice says he used part of the money to build the fence around the president's residence. He used part of the money to build Ellen Johnson's fence. When you look at what's happening there and look at what's happening now at the airport, you will see why Joseph Waka does not want to release the finding. This man admitted in the court of law that he took $375,000. That's why he admitted to US and like another $1 million or so in Liberian dollar plus pickup trucks. It's been months. Are you wondering why Joseph Waka does not want to release the information? We want to believe that part of that money might have gone to President Boakai. This man worked directly for President Boakai. If you are following what's happening in Liberia today on the front pages of all the major newspapers, the NSA has been totally embarrassed, and they have gone into literally arrest the whole Liberian airport authority, bringing them in for questioning because of the drug activities that took place at the airport, where a plane from Mexico landed, whether they disembarked or whatever, and they are saying they had no record of the plane landing at RIA and taking off. And now, based on the report from 7 News, that what the people are saying at RIA makes no sense. And now the NSA is bringing in the airport authority. So this is something that we know this man is part of the mafia. He sounds and looks like an old man who he can't talk, and everybody doing their own thing. This is being orchestrated. The road money, Mr. Gideon cannot lie to us here. Liberia has a system of 12-month budgetary period. They gave you $22 million. You cannot tell me you use only $9 million and the rest of the money will be used over the 6-year period. That's not how it works. We are not stupid. If that's how it worked, why he went to ask for pardon? The Liberian Constitution makes it clear to be pardoned, you have to be processed through the court of law and found guilty. And the president is the only person that can pardon somebody, not the legislature. So the whole thing here is corrupt. I was shocked. 2 weeks ago on this show, Friday Night Debate, when Dr. Dukley, who was an advisor to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, when we talk about Joseph Boakai throw his hand up in the air and say, I have no plan. In July, I put together a committee to go and develop the arrest plan. And they will report to me at the end of the year. That tells you the man said that he has no plans. And then Dr. Dukley said, you can't hold people responsible for camping talk. Camping talk is different. What he said in the campaign, you can't hold. Dr. Dukley, I was embarrassed at a PhD, a respectable consultant on this show, to come and tell us that we cannot hold Joseph Boakai for campaign promises because there's a big difference between campaign promise and administration. So you see where we're going. There is no trust in our system. There is nothing that we can rely on to say we are going back to basics. There's none. The old order is back. Joseph Boakai saw this from Ellen, the Ellen playbook, took the drug dealers' money. When the court told you to bring it back, you say, I used part of that, and I didn't use it myself, but I used it on the president. So that one died. We've seen the replay here. Almost $4 million total. It's gone. 375,000 US dollars. Do you know what 375,000? No one of these guys were fighting. That play is a cash cow. Fadiga wants some. The other guy wants some. Kamara said, no, wait, Krumah wants it. And they were almost killing each other for that.
Mr. Gideon, I have to remind you here as you go ahead. Don't forget, your CDC has 6 years in the making.
We are not talking about
CDC. No, hold on. I hate to look in the rearview mirror, but I have to remind you. You were in the mansion for 12 years, for 6 years. You did absolutely nothing.
CDC
so don't sit here and
we are not relitigating.
Mr. Judge Weah is someone from the southeast side in the mansion. They did absolutely nothing about this vote.
Let him conclude, and you have time to respond.
Mr. Nambe, this is why you came in to replace us. You had an answer. So don't come back and say because you didn't do it, so we should.
I didn't bring this government to power. I've said I repeatedly.
No, but what you are saying is what the United Party people are saying. You didn't do it. Why are you taking the side of it? Because we met it there. So all these things that you made, you say you came to change. You can't change. Now you're trying to blame the CDC for this? Please. This man talking about salary, people padding payroll. You saw the chairman of the United Party, Luther Tappe, wrote the central bank and sent 75 names and said, put these people on payroll because that's why we came here for. Our people need to work. So how can you talk from both sides of your mouth? Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Nambe, you can respond. I think he was too tough there.
Thank you, Mr. Sear. Look, I understand the frustration, the angst that we're all feeling. But I want to also make absolutely clear that this is a problem that President before Boakai have failed to resolve, including the immediate past president, Mr. George Weah, who hailed from the Southeast. He's a son of the Southeast. Do you know how he went to campaign in the Southeast? He went in a helicopter. He went in a helicopter, and that is a disgrace. And so that is why he's not in the mansion today. I want us to also make sure that to make the point that look at the airport that he inaugurated. The airport he's fighting over to come through the VIP lounge. The thing is a mess. The whole thing is flooded. That was inaugurated under him. If there were any flaws, he could have fixed them. He didn't do it. So they all squander our resources, and now he's positioning himself to come back again because he still enjoys the privileges and the pump and the pageantry associated with the executive mansion. He wants to come there and do nothing. So as we're talking about Boakai, let's not forget, Weah was in there for 6 years. He did absolutely nothing. I hope you will mention that too, Mr. Gilman.
Thank you.
Can I have a few seconds as well, please?
Yes, Dr. Budi, go ahead.
No, Mr. Nangbe is really confusing me today, right? Because
Also,
because I've always known you to be someone who's been very objective and who have spoken in a way that is clearly attacking the issue at hand. You're going back, I was targeting someone on Facebook, I think a couple of days ago, because they said something similar. And I'm like, hey, the people paying government for 10 months now, you know that, right? The job we had left that thing a long time ago, like 10 months. You've had 10 months to fix it. You made your promise, right? You said to the Liberian there will be no road problem in 100 days. And I job we had to that one. The 375,000 and I job we had to take it. That where the AV Kurman took that one. I don't know job we had that one happy again. And the $1 million Liberian dollar and the pickup truck that we're talking about. How is it under George Weah that the Giddings wasn't appointed by George Weah? It was appointed by Joseph Boakai. 22 million wasn't George Weah commissioning. It was those are the things that we're talking about, Mr. Nafi. And for you to be going back to George Weah, I think you're trying to do an Aliyu Kurman. And sorry, my brother Aliyu, sorry for calling you here. But you're trying to do an Aliyu Kurman and deflect from the problem. The issues we're talking about, Mr. Nangwe, to be honest with you, big brother, the issues we're talking about today on this show are Boakai's issues, right? Not George Weah. We all know I'm one of those who was very critical of George Weah. Will continue to be critical if he comes back in. I'm hoping he doesn't. But if he comes back in and start messing up, we'll criticize him. But right now, we have a new sheriff. So we need to focus on the sheriff. And please, don't try to distract us like Mr. Gimmick and say smoke screen. Don't bring your smoke screen here today and can't care about the judge we have. Please, we want
so let me apologize to Dr. Budi if I'm confusing him, but I'm talking in the context of this week's argument. Do we need a third source to replace these two actors who have acted on our stage for the past 20 years? This is the thrust of my argument. I am sorry. I know you weren't here on a Thursday night and probably on prior nights. The argument is the UP government has failed us. They failed us for 12 years. They seem to be failing us again for 10 months. The CDC government failed us for 6 years, and now they're agitating and trying to come back again. It's the time for the Liberian people to wake up and wise up and toss these two bombs out of the way and bring in a third force to help liberate our country. It's in that context that I'm making the input. So I'm sorry if I'm bunching everything together, but my argument remains the same. The CDC failed us, the UP failed 12 years ago, and the UP seems to be failing us again yet. And yet our people are ready to get out in the streets again and demonstrate for Weah or demonstrate for Boakai. It doesn't make sense to me.
Thank you.
Yes.
And Joe, we have to go to the callers, but let us conclude on the two type, the infighting at public works minister, and then the money and all that, right? So we have to bring it home. At the end of the day, it is always said that the buck starts with the president. I think that's why they said here or it starts with the leader, something like that they say, right? So we have an issue here. Sometimes it's easier to say, oh, the leader. These individuals, all right, that Giddings, and Chroma, I really want to say Waka should be held accountable here. Is he setting the right tone or the wrong tone for these people to follow? How can these enforced errors, Mr. Namwe Opole, be corrected right now? Because they have so much time. But if they continue, in workers will squander this opportunity of time that they have, 6 months, 9 months now to a year, and it become a point where he may not have control as it seems he doesn't have right now.
Okay. So look at what happened here. Mr. Gibman made reference to that. In the first place, all these guys from now on, whether it's Cummings, the people that believe in, when they come there, you will see hearing roll, because that money is always available. You don't have to go through nothing. You can just grab it out of there. So they're all going to go after the money and loot it. You see that machine that you show? Those companies, you go look, it's other than that own those companies. The moment, and this is the problem, I was in Liberia. I went to LPRC and I spoke to some people because that place was in deplorable condition. I did not want to work for the government. I was going to do it as an independent consultant. They said, put together a proposal. The moment I put it together, they grabbed it. They decided to go on my proposal for them to form their own company to give themselves the contract. It happened at the port. When people died at the port in Buchanan, I went in with Maritime, sat down with them. They said, put together a proposal. I said, I don't want to work for the government. I can be an independent consultant that will be able to work with the companies, Asla Metal, Chan, all these different people. They said, go ahead and put it together. I put it together. The next thing I know, they decided that they would set up their own company so that they can give the contract to themselves. And so to come to your point, this is the problem that we have in Liberia. People, and they couldn't do it because they are not the experts in these places. They don't understand even how to go about it. But the problem here is to see everybody on the show, to the Liberian people, all of these people that I've met in all of these areas, even at Total, they are all from the US. The American group, the Kroma, the Fadika that were fighting, where they come from the US. The group that is fighting on the Giddings, they come from the US. You see what is happening here? The American group for 20 years, incapable, incompetent. They want to throw this stuff around that there's some kind of expert. They all run over there. They have no commitment to the country. But then what do you expect from them? Look across Liberia here, America here, we all live here. They can't even organize their own communities. Show me a sensible, organized, structural community that is here in America, any Liberian community that is achieving anything, that is actually can even cooperate and work among themselves, community building. It doesn't exist. I've traveled across for almost 30 years across this whole country. Every Liberian community that I went, they split. They're competing with each other. They're fighting each other over all kinds of stuff. They can't agree on anything. Then you see people with
including the big brothers and sister Yola.
Yes,
I gotta comment on that.
Yeah, then these people will
I gotta comment on that.
Yeah, then these people will get up, and that's a simple that ending up in Liberia.
Yeah,
there's no nothing but organization.
When you are having program, they can't call Dennis guy to be their guest speaker. They got to call Frantic Kofa because the budget is fat.
Yes, and then these are the people that are in Liberia at every sector, claiming to be running the country. And so, just like Mr. Gimmer said about Kroma, AB Kroma and Fadika, they were fighting over who will control the drug money. That is what that fight was about. You know why I don't know about what is happening between Giddings and this guy? It's about contract. The raw fund, that 22 million, they have their own companies, or they have people that they have interest in on how the contract is going. That is what the fight is about. This is what this fight is about.
And Tal, you have a point there, because if you look at the history a little bit,
no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
I'll come to you, Mr. Namwe. I have something loaded for you. I have something loaded for you. Myself too, I'm not a fan of Eula, and you know that. If you don't know that today. Yeah, yes, okay. Right? When we had Mabutu Yimpa in there, the road contracting in CDC, it was a fight. At some point, even he alleged that Nathaniel McGill and even Koji went there to threaten him. Nathaniel McGill had his own a business or company for road construction project. Mamutu has said that when he had given the initial contract to McGill's company, the job was not done. And so he could not give him another contract. Now, whether or not that's what led to a death is another thing I can't link. Mabutu is no more. Now, so when you are saying they fight at Popular Works, it might be about contract, there's a possibility that is the case.
Right? I'm not going to give the position because I don't want to expose her. I know her personally. She is inside the public work ministry.
Wow.
Okay. And it's about fight over contract awarding the contract. That is what the whole fight is about.
Yeah.
That is the fight.
Let me bring it home to the Yola people here. The convention before this recent one, you know who they invited? Nathaniel McGill. Because they knew that guy could write a check. I had a show criticizing their decision for selecting somebody who became so questionable. The kind of money he was spending. At some point, McGill has expended over $103 million Liberian dollars in the need of scholarships. So Eula calculated that this guy could give up money and the guy came made a huge pledge. Now, McGill is no more now they're going to Franti because Franti budget is around, I think, $2 million in the budget. Why can't Eula? You are here in the diaspora. In the United States, for the most part, are there not competent Liberians here with credibility who can serve as guest speaker for Eula? You always have to go to Liberia, where the noise is with individuals when it comes to money. Why are you doing this? Mr. Namwe, I know we're not having a Eula show, but
we're not. No, we're not having a Eula show, and I get it. And I like the questions. Let me quickly say that I'm very excited right now. Thanks to Bryce Harper and Alex Castellano. My Phillies just hit 2 home runs back to back. Now we're locked. Oh. Let me say this. First of all, I hate that Mr. Tao and others would demonize those of us who come from the diaspora. And as the diaspora coordinator for Yola, for full disclosure, there's a lot of good that the diaspora community has done for Liberia. The president of Liberia is not from the diaspora. Joseph Boga is not from the diaspora. The vice president is not from the diaspora. So you go figure. The diaspora people are not the people who are ruining the government. We go there and do a lot of good. I mean, Monda is not from the diaspora. You explain his $96,000 vehicle to me. So when we take a few bad actors and then demonize the whole community, I think it's wrong. I think we're perpetuating a false choice that our people are making, and I think we need to help to dispel this narrative. It doesn't help. There are a lot of good people in the diaspora here who are willing to help the government for nothing. A lot of good people who want to do good. So let me inform you, we're also organizing annually beginning this December.
Mr. Namwe, I know you can speak. Give us an example of some of the good people. Forget about Dennis Yao, who want to be superintendent. Any other person?
Besides Dennis Yao, the diaspora collectively, we send to Liberia $800 million every year. That's a lot of good. $800 million. That's bigger than the budget of the Republic of Liberia.
Yeah, but you steal more. You steal more and bring it back here.
Let me inform you, if you go and read up on all of the participation of Speaker Kofa to our affairs here, he didn't give us a penny. None of the media outlets will report that. We didn't ask him for money. We think it helps us if we engage the government. We will criticize them when we think we should, and we will engage them and tell them, look, for instance, it is not right for you to spend $9 million on the road when you could have done X, Y, and Z. When you could have called Mr. Gaiman, who is an engineer, and he would have advised you to do it on the cheap. We think we can do a lot of that. And I think we intend to do that. And so we are engaging the government. We're not attention with the government to continue to antagonize them. We will when we should. But we think when the opportunity presents itself to invite them to make their case, we think we should do so. And that is what Speaker Kofa sought to do here, to make the case.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Mr. Namwe, it seems to be internet went off. I hope that will be restored. And Dr. Bully, let me come to you. When Namwe was speaking, this question came to mind.
You are careful.
Is it fair to say that more than likely or not, these presidents of ours turn to tap the wrong diaspora professionals? Or is it that almost or a good number of the professionals that we tap will become a disappointment and now it becomes an indictment on the entire diaspora community? What is your own assessment of the whole thing?
Well, one of the words I've used on this show consistently is impunity. I think I would agree with Mr. Nangbe. I'm happy that he reset our relationship, and I'll disagree with Mr. Powell. I think you cannot demonize all Liberians from the diaspora in terms of the fact that they go in and destroy things. I think you pointed out, Mr. C, that the Director General of the CSA has done some good things, right? In his time there. Yes, we disagree with the current thing that he's doing, but he has done some good things as well. And there are a lot of Liberians from the diaspora that go in and have a good mindset.
Emmanuel Ure Yakwaro is another friend of mine at the EPA. He's doing some good work.
Yeah, I've met him once, because our PhDs kind of aligned. So yeah, and there are some Liberians who go in and do a good job. But Emmanuel, I know, I wasn't really a diaspora Liberian, right? He came to study and then went back.
He came to study. He spent over 10 years, so he became diaspora Liberian, I think.
Well, I wouldn't. He wasn't a permanent. He wasn't resident. He was just.
No, he established his family. Anyway, his family came with because he was.
Yeah, but he can claim that he was studying. So it's not like once we're living here. Yeah, this is our home, right? Or our home away from home kind of thing. So I wouldn't put Emmanuel in that doctor in that situation. But no, my point is, look, yes, a lot of the people who are causing issues in Liberia might have come from the diaspora, but then there's quite a lot of them as well. They're not from the diaspora. So if you look at the bunch that the president appointed at the LTA, for example, most of them are not from the diaspora, and those were appointed illegally. If you look at the illegally appointed governor of the Central Bank of Liberia, it's not. That's my former boss, Honorable Samoa. And the suspension and appointment of him, in the suspension of the previous governor and of the governor. The legitimate governor and the appointment of him was illegal, but he's not from the diaspora. So it's not just you can't demonize all of us from the diaspora that will go in and cause problems, right? But at the same time, the problem, I believe, is the fact that presidents always try to reward cronies, right? People who support them. They try to reward them irrespective of whether these people have the qualification, whether they have the desire, whether they have the experience. They give them these jobs, and most of them are incompetent. Because look, it's not just qualification. Those of us who live in the diaspora know that there are experiences that we have to put on the table. There are ways you have to be a team player. Being a team player is a big deal, right? When you go for a job interview or when you even want to get a contract with an organization, can you play as part of a team? And if you can't do that, that becomes, and most of the guys are not team players. Yes, they might have a CV that says, oh, I've got this qualification, that qualification, that qualification. But if you're not a good team player, then you're going to have these kind of issues, threatening people. So it's not just that they're from the diaspora. I think there's a level of incompetence. I think there's also the fact that people have been put into positions that they have no experience of having delivered in before. And yes, we need to look at that. And when I talked about reshuffle, this president, again, has to take his finger from wherever his finger is and start to put it on the pulse and do the things that the Liberian people are asking him to do. And the things that he said he was going to do for us. Why those many Liberians have voted for him. Because they felt that, oh, we believe this. So when I wasn't on the show the other day, and Mr. Nami was talking about when Dr. Dukley said, oh, well, campaign promises and this one, there are no differences, right? When you promise people that you're going to do something, you have to do it because they vote for you based on your campaign promises. Because you're not in office, so they have to vote for you based on what you say you will deliver. So we have to hold them to those things.
Mr. C, please, if you want to take over my closing for this, please take it away. But I have to point out this disingenuous stuff that both Dr. Booty and Mr. Nam were carrying out. These guys are trying to figure out and pull something out of the sky. But let's look at the evidence. Let us look at the evidence. Don't tell me you name 2 or 3 people out of almost 100,000, or I would say at the highest level about maybe 4,000. That you name only 3.
So Joe, can you give some statistics?
Yeah,
give us some specifics here.
Yeah, so let me give the specifics.
How many Liberians you know went to Liberia and really did not say well?
Okay,
Joe, 1 minute.
Yeah.
1 minute. Give me 30 seconds.
Okay.
Let me see. President Salih from the diaspora, President Taylor, Bala, Justice Banks, Giddings, Grisby, Central Bank, the Central Bank Governor, the former Central Bank Governor, Mr. Amara Corner, the former Minister of Donzo, Beslow, Finlay, Fadiga, Tom Wowayu, Harry Grease, all of these people, and the list, I got a list here, hundreds of them that went.
President Doe did not come from the diaspora.
We are talking about those that went to Liberia that didn't do well.
Of course, they didn't do what I'm saying to you.
You didn't call Wea, you didn't call Tue.
Or to take out the few who didn't
and they go Tue. Let me put Tue. Thank you for real Tue.
And President
Wea.
All right, can I go ahead, Carl. Please make your statement because now we was speaking and that.
So let me give this. Let's take it from here. Let's give the brief history. Liberia, the land in Africa, for it to end up to be Liberia, to create the unequal society for 100 years that led to the war. The so-called free slave, what did they come from? The diaspora. They went in there. What did they bring? Slave master mentality. Strangulated the people. For over 100 years, there was a revolt. When Samuel Doden came in, who were the people? Just Samuel Doden was just a small group. It was the same so-called diasporan Congo that was there. The group that brought the war.
The Doe administration was dominated by diaspora Liberians?
No, they were there. They fled, right? The war. Who brought the war? It was Yola. The war was a brainchild of Yola. Tell them what they. Yes.
That is false.
All right.
The Tom over you. No. The Tom
over
you.
Just because of time. Because of time, I think you made your brother point.
The Ellen Johnson, Sally, all these people. They were in. They were Yola. They went in. They bought the gun. They did all the stuff. When Ellen took over.
Joe, thank you. We got your brother point.
Listen, when Ellen took over from the 10th tier all the way to the top, they were all diasporan. They went there.
Correct.
You want to tell me
I agree. Ellen government was dominated by diaspora Liberians. That I agree with.
When we are took over, at least 60% of them. Don't tell me that the few did well. We're looking at the overall outcome of what the result was. They failed.
Thank you.
Waka is in office. It is the same thing. And then you want to tell me here that no. And then you say I'm trying to demonize. But let's look at the result. I'm an analytical person. I'm looking at empirical evidence. Let's look at it. And then you want to tell me that I'm trying to demonize? Look in the Liberian community you live here. Which one of them have an organized structure?
You got that.
This community here in this place.
Thank you. But Joe, in the Liberian community, we have focus on Liberia. Well organized is the best. That's why you are here.
Focus on Liberia. It's a program that will come in now that you guys created the platform for to expose this. What I'm seeing here, the group in the diaspora, they're like a cartel. They try to protect each other because they are waiting for their own turn for them to go there and loot. The guys have no commitment.
Joe is tough tonight, Mr. Namuel. Yeah. Let me give you 2 minutes, and we'll go to the callers.
Sam Waller on deck. Sam Waller is on deck.
The thrust of my argument is this: there are bad actors on both sides. Our fellows have come from the diaspora here, and some of them have become bad actors in government. There are also some of our locals who also became bad actors in government. My point is to take out of the blame and put in the diaspora community and demonize the entire community. I think it's wrong. I think we should call out those who have gone in government and misbehaved, but to categorize the entire community and say they brought all the bad and this community brought all the good, I think it's wrong. If we look in the government, there are people who came from the diaspora who did very good. And there are people who came here from here and also did very bad. If you're looking at George Weah government, even prior to George Weah, Vani Sherman, who got sanctioned, did not come from the diaspora. Albert Chia didn't come from the diaspora. George Nukwe didn't come from the diaspora. You know, all of these people, Edwin Snow, all of these, what's his name, Yaka Koluba, all these people who are acting right now, who are the shakers and movers in government, did not come from the diaspora. What's his name? Dalon did not come from the diaspora. Yombly did not come from the diaspora. Why is it that we're not calling their names? I think it's a mistake for us to continue to highlight the failures who came from the diaspora at the expense of the entire diaspora community. It doesn't do us any good. We should look at what is happening in government and call it for what it is. There are good people from the diaspora and good people from the local who have done good in government. And there have also been bad people from the diaspora and bad people from back home who have done very bad things in the government. Josiah Jokai we're just talking about. He's one of the bright stars. He's from the diaspora. He's from here. He's from right here on FOL.
And
Why aren't we talking about the good he's doing in the CSA? Never mind the mistakes he accepts his mistakes. Why don't we talk about that? What about what FOL is doing here? What about what Spoon TV is doing and exposing the graft in government on a daily basis? They're from the diaspora. It's because of them that today we know all of what is happening.
They don't want my man as
FOL.
superintendent in Sino. They
They're
don't
not
want him.
holding government position.
Yeah, and it seems to be they don't want me superintendent for
let me
Grand
get
Crew.
a
I
I
want
want
comment
you
section
superintendent
as
for
well.
Grand Crew. That's right.
Because when you do this, you perpetuate the narrative that's driving the schism between our compatriots back home and those of us here.
And Mr.
Namwe,
Namwe, to add to you, Mr. Namwe, to add to you, not cutting you off. If you look at the humanitarian work
yes,
that we are doing, because some of us could decide to say, Lord, I'm going to turn my back on that country. I'm not going to send a penny there. You talk about 800 million. I have not very focused on that, bro. I have not verified that.
they will just start again. I will send it to you when I have a
All right.
chance.
The money that we are sending, people are building homes. People now, FOL, for example, we have 3 staff that in Liberia. They are the number 1 group of staff that get paid on time. I'm the one in charge of making sure that they get paid. Then they make sure the money is available. They get paid on time. We are paying them, so we are contributing. This is a diaspora institution that do a little it can, to the best of our ability. Librarians, I know the medical mission going there carrying drugs. So, Mr. Tao, I agree with you that there are some bad actors among us. Most of our communities here are not organized. There's conflict. There's conflict everywhere, but we are doing some good work too. So I agree with Nami that they are bad actors. I mean, who earned the name Corruption King Kong in Liberia? The guy have been living, Alex Starr have been living in Liberia as a Corruption King Kong. So, I mean, the two of you have a point, but I don't want us to be demonized.
The 800 million that Mr. Lang
Let
is
me have 30
mentioning,
seconds on this,
I already
please.
dismissed that here. I already dismissed that 800 million here.
Thank you.
Because
Thank
this
you.
is one thing that the
Yeah, let me
diaspora
have my 30 seconds
hold
because I
over the
think some of us will be exiting.
All right.
leverage.
30 seconds. The callers are waiting. They are getting mad with me now.
Yeah,
30
No,
seconds.
the point, Mr. Tao, can I make my point, please?
Yeah, but I'm talking. Yeah, is that why you're doing England?
No,
The 800 million.
You made your point.
Now, 30
You made
seconds.
your
It was
point.
his turn. You had your
Yeah,
turn.
you made your point already. We are refuting you. You called Mr. Nangwe and I being disingenuous, right? So we need to respond, right? Are we not allowed to respond?
Nope. You got enough.
Is that what you guys do in America?
Go
Exactly.
ahead and respond, Boris, so we can go to the
Everybody-
call.
No, the point here is very simple. We're not saying that people from the diaspora haven't done wrong. You talk about being analytical, right? Now, part of analyzing data is you need to make sure the data is representative, right? You can't just generalize data if it's not representative. Even if you take a sample, it has to be a representative sample. If we count all of the Liberians who have left the diaspora and gone and messed up in Liberia, and compare that to the diaspora Liberian community in general, I even think they're 1%. You cannot take something that 1% of the people do wrong and then say, oh, the rest of the 99% are corrupt as well because 1% went there and they were corrupt. That is the point we're trying to make here. We're not saying that people are not bad. We're not saying that people have not from here. Let me learn now. Let me learn, please. Act like the American because you say we the English people that we can interrupt. So be the American. Let me talk. The point here is not that some people have not left from here, from the diaspora, and gone and done wrong. It's the sample size that you're using. It's not representative, right? So we cannot generalize it. That's the point we're making. There are bad actors, but it's a very small group of individuals. So you can't say all of us are horrible, right? The point here is when these guys are elected, the ones that are bad apples are the ones that are behind them and shouting the loudest. So they give them jobs. They don't vet them properly. They gave them jobs not because they have the country at heart or because they're the most competent. It's because they shouted the loudest for them, right? So obviously there will be bad actors. Obviously they're doing it because that's our time, right? There are many Liberians in the US, here in the UK, and other parts of the world. They're very good. They're experts, even on this panel. If the government of Liberia came here and collected fire us and put us where our expertise lie, we would do a much better job. Hopefully, anyway, that we'll do a much better job. It does not mean we're not from the diaspora. We are from the diaspora as well as the bad actors. But you can't take that small sample and then just say, oh, they're all bad. Now, the thing that the people were doing, like during the war, they were killing people. Because one crime man, this one, they say that chaotic crime people. One man go man, this one, they say chaotic people. One Geo man do something, they say, no, we can't do that. Deal with the individual. Don't generalize.
Thank you. And I'll make the point that we'll go to the caller. You know, Mr. Tao, the way you're putting it is like all of us. So you are also saying that you are also bad. And I want to disagree with you. You are bad. You are not a bad man. You are a good man. You want a good for Liberia. You are just frustrated as I am about some of our friends, our colleagues who've been given the opportunity and go and join the bad behavior on the ground. That is why we see here. There's so much good that we are doing here in the diaspora and also taking it to Liberia. So we have to hold everybody accountable. Martin Luther King couldn't be clear. You know, we got to look at the content of the person's character, you know, not necessarily the color of their skin. Not because the person in Liberian is bad. No, not necessarily. Let's look at the bad actors and hold them accountable for the things that they do. That said, we will go to the phone line.
I'll send you a link when you get a chance at the FOL chat room on WhatsApp. Mr. Tao said my stats were fake, so I sent you something when you get a chance.
Okay, I will display it. And here's the thing, focus on Liberia. With all of your support, we have been doing a good job. We've been able to show the best and brightest of Liberia. There's a Liberian citizen in Washington, D.C. called Dr. Leonard Bernard. He is the technology expert for, I think, Washington. This guy knows about technology, especially internet, and we are having trouble in Liberia. He even said that the Liberian government can even talk to Microsoft. They can provide internet for us. This solution have been provided here. The data started doing Ellen Johnson Sirleaf time to build an internet grid in Liberia to go across the country. You use $60 million. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf with all the PMA could not raise that money. They couldn't raise the money. Then they resorted to the fiber that's not being done today. Liberians, we got good people. Many of them have been here. I've interviewed a lot of people that have been here. If only our leaders would go to the right places to get the right talents. These people will not run behind you because you're running for president and want to be a campaign person. No, they are professionals. They are problem solvers. Find them. All Liberians will agree. But because the member Mo Ali was Secretary General, he got to be a water and sewer even if he's qualified. Because they were party chairman, were in the proverbial poo water, he must be an MPA. We are not going anywhere with that nonsense. That said, the man Everett Morris is there on the line. Mr. Morris, I think the discussion, I don't know why you're not here, but you are here now. Let's do it.
All right. Thank you for taking my call. And hello to the family. Sorry I couldn't make it on today. But look, Mr. Sierra, you are coming for today because you are a host on this network. You should be neutral. The fact that you continue to protect or try to defend Josiah Joker, I think is beneath you and it's something that you shouldn't be doing. As a personal friend, people accuse of, I think on the last show on Friday, that people on focus on my brother law to defend their friends who are in government. And I think you are a prime example of it today. You shouldn't be doing that. But secondly, let me go to the LDA situation. I'm not going to say, President Barker is slow. He's not slow to act. He's complicit in the actions of A.B. Krumah. Because A.B. Krumah really implicated him in the money that he took from those alleged drug dealers. So the rhetoric that was saying against President Weah, he was bringing drug into the country, he was a drug dealer, all these accusations that were being made against him. Now we're hearing that President Boyka is tied directly to alleged drug money, that he benefited from some alleged drug money that was seized from an alleged drug dealer. I mean, imagine that a man who went through vaccine for drug or went and did a drug test is being directly tied to drug money in less than, 1 year in government. And to Mr. Tao, you're so pessimistic. If you tell a brand man, you put it on mass and live there for 100 years, you bring it, but it's still a brand man, it will still be corrupt. So whether we're in a diaspora or we're in some kind of village in local country, we tell from a foreign government will still be corrupt. That's who we are. wherever we are, you take us from there, you bring us to Liberia, the mentality remains the same. We want to build our homes or we want to finish paying off our mortgage in the United States. 95% of Liberians are like that. So people can say, no, I'm the exception, fine. Maybe you're that exception. But the reality is, regardless of diaspora or in country, it's the fact of the Liberian character. We are almost inherently corrupt. And lastly, with the public work minister, look, I will say this and I'll say it boldly. I wish I was on the show. Let the Liberian people know now, this is a Lofa people government. This is a Lofa County government. If you get a Lofa County mayor under you, he the boss man, you the subordinate. And that's what happening to Roden Giddens right now, because the guy from Lofa, under Giddens, they're trying to tell him what to do because I have grandpa in office. So thereby they have the authority and he's supposed to be their subordinate, and that's what's going on. Like President Butler will do nothing about it. If Roden Giddens acts stupid, they will probably fire him and promote that guy to that position. That's what's going to happen in that ministry. So this is your government, you guys who are advocating for it on a platform during the election time. This is what you got. That's what you have to live with. I think even if George Weah was still there, we'll have similar issue. This is who we are as Liberians. We're no better than the people. They're no better than us in the diaspora. Our character shine most when we're in Liberia because then we show you our true self. And that's why Mr. Ty would think people that come from America, they're more corrupt than the people in Liberia. No. They're just as corrupt, but America got systems that can stop us from showing our corrupt nature in this country. That's the difference. But thank you for taking my call. I'll leave it there.
Thank you. Hassan Conan. Mr. Conan, you are live.
Yeah, Anthony, thank you for taking my call. Great show. I would disagree with Elvis on that 95% Liberians. I would say 99.9% Liberians are corrupt. Right? 99.9% are corrupt.
No hope for the country now.
Whether in Liberia or all of us, let's say all of us. I mean, all of us.
Is Mr. Tao in that 99.9%?
Right. Mr. Tao will be in it because Mr. Tao will probably have somebody in government or somebody that will do something, right? That he will probably want to turn the blind eye to. I've seen, Mr. Jerome Gimel do it. I watched the show too long. I've seen people defend their friends, right? Mr. Gimel will defend his friends. Ali would defend him on the party or whatever it is and stuff like that. And by the time we get to Liberia, I don't want this beach. I'm pretty sure Mr. Gimel go to Liberia, he took his tail in. Or he will probably, I'm not just beat on Mr. Gimel. But as far as the whole ULA thing and stuff like that, I don't think we should be giving platform. I don't think ULA should be giving platform to people with questionable character and stuff like that. I think we should highlight Liberians that are doing great in the diaspora, like that we have, like you said, the person from Washington, D.C., and stuff like that, or even Alice Cummings, right? And one of the things, one of the reasons why Liberians in the diaspora that's doing well don't want to put their head up or stick their head up to try to do anything in that country, because when you do it, they will treat you like the dead Cummings. You see how the dead Alice Cummings, so everybody is scared. Because by the time you put your hand up, they're going to be like, oh, you didn't do this or you didn't do that and stuff like that. So I think that's why that's holding most Liberians back or how you call it? Liberians that's capable. That I think that's why most people are being reserved and just say, I'm gonna just stay in my lane, stay out of that community, or stay out of this drama, or stay out of everything that's going on. Yeah, as far as the LDA, I mean, like one thing cannot leave all him behind. We saw A.B. Kuma for Ellen government. What do we expect? This was the people said it that he was part of the problem, but guess what? Because you campaign and do the thing. So I mean, I'm not gonna to how you call it, keep dragging on the A.B. Kuma thing because we already know what he's capable of. And Joseph Walker hiring with the public works. I mean, I disagree with Elvis when he said the Giddens thing. What have Giddens done? Look at his resume prior to he being public works minister. What did Giddens do? So $22 million that one that fly, he's just gonna swear. We never hear about it. We don't know what happened to it. It ended in chill, like in chill, and that's how that's gonna be. And stuff. So we can all come here. I think this is like a therapy session for all our friends who are frustrated. We just come here and voice. The therapist says, no, talk about your feelings. So we all come here and talk about our feelings and we feel good about it. But there's nothing that can be done until we make the hard decision. Parents, good things don't come easy. Don't pick winnable, pick capable. Good thing does not come easy, and we always have to make the hard decision. And that's why I agree with Mr. Tao. when he criticized the diaspora Liberian, right? Because we are in the future misleading our people in the past. We're living in the future, we see what's wrong, but we are constantly misleading our people. You know, when they say something, then somebody want to explain it in a tricky way to make it sound good. That living in the diaspora because, you know, maybe their friend or the political party or the tribesmen or the kingsmen or whoever it is being, you know, is being talked to in a negative light. So I agree with Mr. Tao. It starts with us here. I will always say this. It starts with us. We are the educated ones. We are the one that know how system works. We are the one that should be, how you call it, enlighten our people back home. We should be showing them instead of trying to mislead them and try to be like political punters. Like, you know, we watch too much Fox News. People watch Fox and they try to do the same thing that they see on Fox News or they see on CNN or so. We should educate our people. We aren't there yet to be misleading our people. We are not there yet. And I always appeal to the educated class on that. It's the diaspora that built China. It's the diaspora that built Singapore. It's the diaspora, the educated ones. They didn't go there misleading and try to say, oh, no, don't vote for the... No. Tell it as it is. Just because you like George Weah, you can... Everybody loves him. I don't know a single Liberian I hate George Weah. But yeah, we like him for football, but we can't be telling him he's the best person to lead us when we all know that this guy don't know A from Bullfrog. So we should stop doing this thing. And so was Joseph Walker too. 40 years, he didn't do anything, but people were still willing to carry water because they thought it was going to get jobs. And some of them did get jobs. And now we're living with the consequences. You see, look at Martin Colley. Look at Martin Colley. Now he's on Facebook for all the things. And that's why I can just say that we agree. Because think about how arrogant that statement is. When you try to tell somebody they're doing something wrong, and they just say we agree, right? Just dismiss everything you try to say. But thanks for taking my call, Anthony.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. You couldn't have nailed it better. We really got to be honest with ourselves. The leaders we choose, you know, show the direction we will go. You know, we were here. Many of us made it clear that Waka does not have anything in him of a leader Liberia needs at this time. And that was the fact. It remains the fact. We are wasting these 6 years for nothing. And the children in Negro Town, in my grand crew, their future is completely bleak. I mean, how you say drugs is an emergency? Initially, the budget was $1.1 million. Then you call it to $400,000. I mean, who does that? And increase the budget for presidential affairs by almost $2.5 million. I mean, I don't know how these people making these decisions. And you have well-paid legislatures. Where is the righteous indignation concerning these kind of decisions they are making? You say you will fight. I mean, that is a serious national emergency. The youth of Liberia is the future of Liberia. They're not a gold, they're not a diamond going to build Liberia. The foreigners are stealing the gold anyway, in the midst of these people that consider themselves to be smart people. You made me president of Liberia now. I cancel everything. No mineral will leave our country. We'll invest our money in education and prepare our own. When they have the capability to take over these resources, then we can start. Chinese taking our minerals. The last time I checked, I know MSEG Gold, I think they call it, shipped out of Liberia $600 million worth of gold. And our budget is not even quite $6 million. And our leaders are here passing all around looking for money. A foreign country in your country just took $600 million out of your country in less than 1 year. And they did it by just bribing the leaders, and those guys walk away with the millions, and Liberians are poor. The communities where they took the gold from, those people are living in dirt. Our leaders are not serious. Anytime I say, people say, oh, this guy is too harsh, you know, he's too negative and whatsoever. We all have experienced poverty in our country for bad decisions from our leaders, and they continue to double down. President Walker got himself a bulletproof car. Who is after that old man's life in Liberia? One good thing that has happened after this war, no Liberian is thinking about assassinating any president. If that were the case, Joshua would be the first to be assassinated. This guy was bluffing and dancing a gathering with no security whatsoever. Why do you need a bulletproof car, old man, at this time? Costing us $1.1 million. And you can't even spend 1 million on the drugs crisis that you announce. Are you a serious leader? And Sam Waller want to show up MOU. MOU not going to solve a damn thing in the country. It's just a mere agreement that can be canceled if the person with whom you reach that agreement sees that you are not a serious person. They will cancel it. So we have to get serious. Connor couldn't have said it. Maybe this is a therapy for us. We'll just vent our frustration. You know, look at the kind of people he's appointing. Man Jabate for urban development. The last time I saw him, he joined the Pinsville City Corporation. They are cleaning the city. That urban development there. You have the city corporation responsible to clean the city. The urban development there, he has nothing to do. So he joined the Pinsville City Corporation and he posted it on Facebook. How do we make progress with such a man? He went live and said that he will assassinate a lawmaker. No consequences whatsoever. And you want investors to come in the country where someone you appointed is threatening the life of a lawmaker. You expect that person to come to your country to invest. Where are the United Party people? They don't even come here anymore because they can't stand the heat. We will hold them accountable. This is our country we're talking about here. They are getting well paid. The best paid officials in the world are Liberian government officials, but they are the #1 do-nothing officials. And this is what get me mad. The way the guys are paid, if I in Liberia get paid like that, I will do so much. The company I work for, I get paid very handsomely. So I work very well. And I have a certificate to prove it. I'm a trainer. I'm a Liberian. I'm producing. I just stood with my son, who is serving the U.S. military today. Liberians can do it. We just need a leadership, you know, to make that happen. And these people are joking and they don't want us to talk about it. Mr. Tao, I agree with you. You have a point. Mr. Namwe, I also agree with you. Don't indict all of us. There's some are doing good job here, including Mr. Gaiman, who always taking a team to Grand Bassa. What's the bank out of doing Grand Bassa now? He's here, he got children here, finished with college and all that. He's enjoying a palm wine, a late tabadu in Florida. But he goes there to help.
He likes the Bassa boy.
Yeah, he's not being paid to do so. The ones that get paid are the ones letting us down. Anyway, gentlemen, you're closing. Let's start with you, J. Victor Namwe. You can take the EULA swab. That would be good anyway.
Absolutely. Listen, I think all I needed to say on the EULA front has been said. I just wanted to announce here that the Diaspora Affairs Committee is collaborating with a group of Liberians, the same group that took the surfing, people to Liberia. We're organizing an annual diaspora return. We want to make that every December. And so we're inviting all of us. Let's go to Liberia. Let's spend some money. Let's put some money into our economy. I think there's a lot of good we all can do together. The government and the private citizens, private partner, public partnership. So we're inviting you. We have a calendar of events. It's being finalized will be released. We have a lot of activities planned, but prominent on that will be a reconciliation dialogue that will be happening, God willing, on December 20th at the ministerial complex. We want to bring together the government people, the private citizens, the civil society people, the church organizations, so that we can talk among ourselves. We think we need to dispel this narrative that is dividing us, which is the false narrative. We're all Liberians and we need to collaborate. And so I'm happy that what I was going to say about the EULA thing, most of it has been said, including you, Mr. C, Dr. Booty, and some of the callers. So I'm not going to go there again. But I'm happy that, we can come here daily and contribute a little we can from the diaspora and even back home to help uplift our country. Thank you very much. Great show.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Dr. Booty?
Yes, it's been a great show. Obviously, by now, I think almost 40 minutes ago, I would have left because it's quite late on my side. But I decided to stick it out, especially after Mr. Tao called Mr. Nangwe and myself being disingenuous, right? That kind of boiled the blood a little bit. So I'm like, no, I got to stick it out. And it brought the crewman out. But anyway, I think we touched on a lot of great things. I'm glad my brother Elvis Morris called in as well, and thanks to the caller as well. Even though I disagree with the percentage I think there are a lot of Liberians who are corrupt. And I think the system doesn't help as well because it's a systemic issue, right? It's not just the individuals. I think there is a way that we can deal with the issue. I think the Liberian people entrusted this president with a mandate to deliver to them because they felt that they had been failed by the George Weah administration for 6 years. And this president needs to now decide to do what is right for the Liberian people. I think he owes it to the people that voted for him. He owes it to all Liberians. If he claims that he knows what's best for Liberia, then he has to do what's in the best interest of Liberia. If that means that he needs to get a new team of people around him, then he needs to get that new team around so that we can get this country moving in the right direction. There are a lot of optimism. There is a lot of possibilities for Liberia if we just get things going the right way. So, Mr. President, if you're listening, please, whatever it is that you're doing, you need to stop doing it. And Mr. Nangwe, can I say thank you, obviously, to you? I don't know, I've not followed you guys for quite a long time, so I don't know what you're doing, but I think having you here, we will be getting updates. And in whatever way that we can participate in the conversation, we would love to be a part. And we thank you for the service because you guys are not getting paid to do these things, and people can be showing all kind of talk there on your visit tower that you just to throw you lie right. So we big you and I your taxes thing you're on there, you need to stop it. But great show, and yeah, we look forward to next Sunday as well when we'll be back again.
Mr. Booty, don't leave.
You want to arrest?
Go ahead.
Are we on arrest? Are we on arrest? We can't leave until Mr. Tao is done.
Yeah, unless you are dismissed.
Go ahead, Mr. Tao. You're closing.
Yeah. So look at what happened here, gentlemen. Good show. I like when we come here. We all may have different perspectives on how we want to make our country better, but at least we come here, we make the effort. But look, I want to dismiss something here, or at least point it out, let it be put into the proper context. And I'm very, very hard on the diaspora group. And the reason is because the diaspora group dominate Liberia. And in their present form and their present orientation, Liberia will continue to fail. And I've said this way back in 2005, that in order for Liberia to succeed, the group in the diaspora, what Liberia needs from the diaspora is experts, technocrats. We're not talking about, because when they try to use the word technocrat, it's somebody that can count beans that work at UN, DPL, or somebody that can do hair counts that were working for UN at some refugee camp. No. We need technocrats. We need people that know about refining, or petroleum engineering, or road construction, or these different areas. The people that need to lead the way in Liberia have to be domestically grown. And the people from the diaspora come in as experts, lending their expertise. The difference here is this. So the people in Liberia that are homegrown, live in Liberia, have their families in Liberia, their commitment is in Liberia. So then they know that that country must succeed. But what we have in reverse, the policies are being driven by outsiders. Look, it is not whether you are born in Liberia, whether you came here, all of us, once you come here, your entire concept, your family is here, everything is here. Your commitment is split. And you're going back. You are sitting on the fence. You are lukewarm. This is what is happening. And the diaspora group recognize this. They refuse in 20 years to develop the homegrown capacity of the people. Look at the outcome. You want to say here that you can't take 99%. Don't try to misappropriate this. You're trying to talk about the whole population of the Liberians that are there that have no chance of coming nowhere near government or leadership or policy. That is how you're trying to place this. No, we're talking about the people that are deciding the policy and the future and the trajectory of the country. It is in the hands of diaspora for the last 20 years. They dominate that area. Let us be honest here. We don't hold each other responsible. They go to the country. They see the moment they get caught up in corruption, they cross through Freetown, they run back over here in Philadelphia, posting on Facebook and nobody hold them responsible. So I said it here, Mr. Gaiman. Have you said it here before? Until we can start holding each other responsible to the point of even advocating for people to get arrested here in prison, until we can start doing that, people will always leave from here, go to that country, loot the country. Then we have someone that come on here, FOL, on Spoon. They sit there, they talk. People like Christopher Neal. I know him. He was living in my uncle's neighborhood. They sat over there. They indebted the country in the tune of $1 billion on man coffee. They bankrupt knockout. He came here, he had made and saw somebody who never had made before. Then he came on the show to justify. I watched the show that Monica Tan have the right for him to make $17,000 a month. You know why? Because he's hoping and waiting so he can get back over there. So you're talking about expert. No, it is not the expert. These people have no commitment. Let us be honest. So we need to hold each other responsible because the diaspora group dominated Liberia at every level in terms of politics, in terms of decision making, in terms of projecting the trajectory of the country. So until we can start holding each other responsible, and when one of us go over there and fail, I'm not indicting the whole Liberian group that is here. I'm talking about the group that is leaving and going. Man, doesn't racism exist? It exists. It's all white people that actually get involved in it. But if the outcome from the larger society, the result is what we look at and we indict all white people. So if you think that you are good enough, then influence your fellow diaspora until the outcome show otherwise. Until then, we will indict ourselves and hold each other responsible that we are failing, we are looting our country. The evidence is there. And let's come to the 800 million here, because these are some of the stuff that the diaspora group use as some kind of leverage over the people in Liberia. It's funny that we sit here because we sponsor our own children that we left in Liberia, because we sponsor our own parents. Are you giving it to the Liberian government? Yes, it goes into the economy, but it is your personal responsibility that you are dealing with over the generally 99% of it. Or you build your own personal house. It's not that we don't recognize that, but don't throw that around as something then it gives you some kind of right and entitlement. No, you are doing your own personal stuff. You know what? Nobody's begging you. I sent in Liberia, I spend in the tune of almost $150,000 every year on me taking your family member. And yes, I run my own charity. But guess what? That is what I choose to do. I'm not giving it to the Liberian government. Yeah, I'm spending it. It should be recognized. But I can't use that as some kind of leverage over anybody. Let's take that out of it, because they throw this around and it's put out of context. Because these are the things that the Liberian group here try to use, then they feel entitled that they have right to the resources of that country. Let us dispel these things. Let us be honest. Let us draw, because we keep trying to throw around how educated we are this, we are that. But let's look at the outcome when we go over there. We went over to look at the Liberian people that are supposed to be savage, they're not educated. What is happening between the AB Kromans and the Farika? What is happening between the Gideons and all these people? The Abachi, these guys all come from here, man. Look at the government. Don't tell me the evidence is there. Everybody that has any high level that makes sense, they're almost all from here. And the outcome, we can say, yeah, there is one or two good people, but we're looking at the overall projection of what the outcome is. That is what we are looking at. It's a failure.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tao. The sedition gets the last word tonight.
Yes, I'm going to be very short. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another show coming up called the Justice Forum. Please stay and watch. It's going to be informative when it comes to the legal matters. I just want to say this about we being honest with ourselves. When Ellen Johnson won the elections, I had a lot of connection in the government. They asked me, my friend Julia Duncan Cassell and her people asked me if I wanted to come home to work. They were looking for managers. I told her the $5,000 they were offering could not support me in Liberia and support my family here.
Yeah,
I will wind up stealing or doing something illegal. I was honest. $60,000 in Liberia is a lot of money, but it couldn't support me in Liberia and support me here. When George Weah came to power, some people asked that I go home. They were looking for managers. Mr. CA, you and I know that $60,000, $70,000 in Liberia cannot take care of all the extended families back home, and take care of my bill, my mortgage, my children here. It's not possible. So anybody who leaves from the diaspora to go home, either they were not doing well here and wanted to go home to loot. That's exactly why there is no way that you're going to have a home or family here. And Mr. C, you know what I'm talking about. You have your job, you're making good money. You cannot leave your young son, your young children, and your mortgage and all that stuff and go home and take $4,000 a month unless you are retired. Where Uncle Sam sends you money monthly. Where you got empty nest, your children have graduated, they have all moved out, and you can downsize, your wife go back and forth, and you live. Other than that, anybody who goes home, they are lying. They will steal. You cannot support home in Liberia. Thank you very much.
So I know I've closed, but Jerome, it is mistaken if we think to get in government is to make money. You go in government to serve your people. And then, hang on.
But you still got to take care of yourself.
Let me finish.
Hello?
Richard Dennis here, for instance, the guy who runs the butter share, this guy is worth over $350 million. You think he's going to Liberia to make $5,000? I think it's a mistake. Most of the people, when you leave here, it should be because you want to give back. And I'm not, again, my argument is not that people don't leave here and act bad in government. I acknowledge that. But I'm saying people also do that in Liberia. So the two groups of people are undesirable. But let's not use that as a broad brush to paint all Liberians local and all Liberians in the diaspora. That's the argument I'm making. There are bad actors here. There are also bad actors in Liberia. But I think we seem to be highlighting the bad actors from the diaspora to the detriment of the very good ones that are here who are also doing some good.
Yeah, but Mr. Name, you don't have the numbers on your side. When they for instance, the young woman that went home, they sent to the airport. She went home. We hailed her. She was an expert. She was a helicopter pilot. She stole all the money. What she came back in? The American government said, you cannot persecute her. She's an American citizen, and we all are.
It was your detriment for hailing her. She was a helicopter pilot, not a manager.
Her credentials said she was very qualified. She was
but she's not managing. She just know how to fly plane.
Huh?
She know how to fly plane. Don't mean her qualified to run an entity.
Exactly. It's like my young brother here from. It's like my young brother. Gentlemen, a young brother here from Cotton who they wanted to make the airport manager, and it turned out he didn't know anything about managing the airport. No. That is right. Being a pilot doesn't mean you are a manager of the airport.
Exactly. You've been saying this, but I'm telling you, while Liberians that are American citizens or have green card cannot be persecuted when they steal because they run and come back here. Go ahead, Mr. C.
Mr. C.
Thank you. But you just say
she stole from the U.S. government.
We have 6 minutes. We have 4 minutes.
We have 5 seconds. Mr. C, just 5 seconds, please. Look, the EULA stuff, I mentioned it last time. But look at what happened here. It's a shame and it's an embarrassment. The EULA is looking for money. They're looking for funding. Okay? They're looking for funding. When you invite somebody from such a corrupt government that is in such a corrupt position that is going ahead and creating budgets that he doesn't even deserve. And let me make the disclaimer here. Funati Kofa is married to somebody that is like my sister. So I'll get in trouble for this. But I don't care. Trouble is all that I've always known. So I will make that disclaimer. But then it's not that you invite them, because I will advise you on this. If you invite them, let them sit there and you lecture them. You tell them the problem. Let them sit in the audience. You don't give them the podium and he's lecturing you.
Gentlemen, we have to close the show.
We gotta go.
Gentlemen, he's lecturing you and telling you.
My feelings are in the lead. So right now I'm very excited.
Yeah, gentlemen, we have to close the show. A spirited discussion today. I think Liberians should be happy that we had a kind of engaging and spirited discussion. And you were talking about Ellen Cochran, right? And guess what that woman did? She, being a true definition of a thief, she returned to the U.S., When these people are doing the PPE loan during the COVID time, that woman stole millions of dollars and she in jail today. She is a bad example. A character like that was sent to Liberia to help our people, and she failed. Oh, these are the people that are making her look ugly. Gentlemen, you go with Deneja for Sano County for superintendent, you will not go wrong. Gentlemen, you go with Anthony C for superintendent, you will not go wrong. Or put me at the airport in Liberia. Let me run the entire ground operation. I will bring you millions. Millions. I've been doing the thing for 13 years, how to operate at the airport. Grand operation. I can run that thing. Anyway, we got to leave it there. The sun says we are all Liberians. Enjoy the sun. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia.